hasn't.
But I do remember that coming up, and I do know that was why we pumped the brakes, but I don't think anybody around this table knew how bad those boards actually were at the time. I was looking at them last night or the night before, whenever I was
That
out
last
there.
high water took a lot of them out, and then boats have been coming in there and not slowing down. So
And that wooden dock needs more repair than just a hole in it. I noticed that
right, it's on
whatever
that
the
one
canvas is that ties the pieces together, it's detached from the east piece. And the east piece is just kind of bumping up against it.
Yeah,
And I watched some people walking on it when they step from one to the other. It's dangerous.
that high water, and then when it came back up again, it come back up under there again and raised that one side a little higher here. Was it?
Do we need to demolish the whole thing or just fix it?
No, we need somebody to go out there and fix it.
Well, we need to hire somebody to do that.
We pay people.
Well, our boys can do it this winter probably. Do we want to do it in the spring when it's maybe not
All
such
you
high
gotta do is just
water?
walk out there and put some screws in it.
Yeah.
Just walk out there and put a board on it and screw that. There's 3 pieces to the dock, and then there's a strip of real heavy canvas to hold them together. It just came ripped apart on one side, so it's if they go out there and just reattach it on there. And I don't know the bad board. I didn't walk out there on it myself, but I would think that would be easy to replace as well.
Yeah, it just needs to. I think it just needs to get a piece of it's a 2x4, I believe, as well. No, it's
2x6s.
It just needs to be replaced.
Take one out, put another one in.
I was gonna do it, and then because of the way it's up, I didn't think I'd better put a new one on there until we got it down to where it's level. Because remember that one corner that we had that really high water, it raised it.
Yeah.
So we need to make some plannings with the gentleman to go out there and all need to work on it together then, sounds like. A crew, maybe.
And there is not much left of the beach. It's all on the other side of this area.
Yeah.
I think we
Where is it?
started
Water?
the year off that way.
Was that?
Under the water.
Well, actually, between that floating dock that's out there and where I put the rope in, there's a really nice beach there. It's all
Sure is.
Yeah.
Shaded.
It's shaded.
That's why we need that concrete wall, which possibly will probably be coming next year, so that issue is taken care of.
Wish we would have taken the old one out. That's
Well, now we know why it was there.
whatever you learn.
It was kind of a killer, though, if you remember it.
Yeah, it
I
was.
didn't want that.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
they could have
great
just
shape. They
replaced
could have
it.
fixed
I mean,
the
that would have
steps
been-
for sure. That would have been
Yeah.
good.
Well, if we knew we were going to replace it, we would have done it when we had that drought. Because
Yep.
That would have been a good year.
that's hindsight.
2020, hindsight.
Yeah.
Give it time. Well,
We need to figure out what we can do with the drains in the showers because they plug out every time it rains. The other morning I went in and had about 3 inches of water on the floor in the bait shop. And we plunged. We plunged for about an hour before I finally got it to drain. I mean, it doesn't do any good because it's sand, so it doesn't do any good to
So there was we
run a
probably have
snake
a.
down.
It's
You
collapsed
just
underneath
gotta
there?
plunge and plunge until it eventually goes.
Didn't you say that you have a pressure washer,
Yes, I
electric pressure
used
washer?
it.
Did you try that down that drain?
I didn't the last time because I have it up here at the house and I'm trying to get. my
Tim, if
house
the
ready.
sand is infiltrating it though, they have a broken pipe and that sewer can't run into the lake. So
Well, the sand gets in there because people walk in the beach into the shower and they're not using that outside shower that we put in.
do you think that much sand gets in there?
That's how it's getting in there.
Well, and it worse. Matt and my son plunged a fish out of it one day. So we definitely need to put something on the end of it if it's going to continue to drain the way we're draining it.
All right, we'll have it checked out.
Big screen basket.
You know, and
does it come up in there then? Is that what you're
I
saying?
yeah.
think so. Swing.
Oh, okay.
So I put an oversized basket on the outside, then you're still allowed to.
Okay.
so it's still, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the last month it's really been bad. So, and we need a new program for the permits because for some reason, every time the internet goes down, I lose a permit.
You lose the permit or a
Well, I tried to find one the other day that the guy paid for it 6 months ago. And I couldn't find the permit. But the only way I can look the permit up is by the number. And if I don't have the number on the receipt,
and he didn't have the receipt.
no, he called it in, so you know it would have been printed and brought in, and I didn't want Stephanie. I just went ahead and reimbursed him. But when I go to print on the weekends, the camping, I can print one, and then if it goes more than 5 or 10 minutes, I can't print another one. So I have to reboot everything. So which is a pain. So what I've been doing the last couple weekends is I just do out a receipt on my cash drawer,
Mhm.
and then I attach it to a piece of paper so that, and then I go in on Monday morning and fill them all out real quick while it's still working. And it started doing that when that internet went down in July and was down all month. It took me a month to get it back up. And I'm thinking when it went down, we've lost a lot of that stuff. I don't know why. I don't know if Stephanie can look it up under a name or not.
When Chris was out here working on my computer, you know, our IT guy, he was talking about the bait shop and wanting to get together with Mike and try and get that because I thought it's not working out there whenever it was down. And so then he and Mike would get together and try and work something out, but he said that it probably just needs a full overhaul. And I know not what that means.
I don't know, but that,
What provider are you using?
pardon?
What provider?
It's Century.
It's
CenturyLink.
CenturyLink, I believe.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
CenturyLink.
I wouldn't call them a provider or a service. I call them his service.
And there is a
Yes,
tower,
sir.
there is
Do we
a
have an
phone
option?
tower out there in the middle
No.
of the beach area. Why
I mean, you
is
can go to
that?
Mercury, but it's gonna drop just as much.
Let the kids rip the stuff off of it, and I think that's part of the problem.
What's that?
I've taped
You talking about?
What are you talking about?
near that tower that's out there in the middle of the beach area.
Pedestal,
The
like a
pedestal.
phone pedestal.
There's a
Wire.
phone
yeah.
pedestal there. I have taped that thing shut, I don't know how many times. But every time it rains, the internet goes down. The phone right now is intermittent.
Should have been when it was United. Squirrel could be on the line.
I mean,
But anyway.
I've seen all ages go out there. They just bang.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just kids. I've seen adults.
Why is it in the beach?
I don't know.
I don't know why I'm asking
And one of the
stupid questions.
Texas, one of the
That
Texas that
wasn't
come
part
out
of the
there.
beach.
Oh,
Yeah, see,
okay.
that didn't used to be the beach. I don't
Okay.
think.
What if we should have them do something like what Gary Kimball has in his yard around his water meter? That metal cage, that would be effective. I mean,
It's
instead
not
of
bad.
fighting them
It's
over it,
just kidding.
build a cage around it.
In July when I was having so much
Build
trouble.
one that each set
He
of
said there's a
or-
pedestal up by the
Yeah.
road. He doesn't know why there's one down there.
Like landlords?
Mhm.
Well, it's obviously in use. If it gets damaged
Obviously.
and then it shows,
Right.
I don't know what it takes to fix the internet out there, but we've got to get something
Yeah.
done. Because even if we're looking into these other ideas,
Yeah, they have to.
they have
Otherwise,
to
it's
have,
gonna
it
be
requires
outrageous.
internet.
Justin, do you know anything about that message I had sent you about CenturyLink being able to like give everybody an upgrade?
I don't know. To me, they're running their. I don't know. When you do an audit on what kind of service you have or whatever, like go into your modem and hit status, it's like an 8A profile on a VDSL2. Supposedly, according to Wikipedia, it's supposedly capable of 50 megs. And here we are running at 10. So it's just, I wonder if we're throttled. I don't know. And I don't know if like you said, the tech told that it was just a matter of like enabling something.
And it was a very weird thing. So a technician from CenturyLink came out and was fixing someone's internet, and he was like, "Oh, Eskridge is supposed to have this thing where everyone can upgrade, and
They
I
were
don't know
talking
why
about
this
it
was
for a
never.
while,
And they were like, I don't know why this was done. And then supposedly he's done some magic thing, and everyone can now upgrade. And I'm like,
But the jack that
Really?
came out and did ours.
Did you write his name down? I want to talk to this person.
I
Did you?
didn't have the
I will find
person also
Yeah,
who.
but
Well,
Upgrade
it's
mine.
not working. It's gonna cost you $100 more to have the tech come out and do it because they're gonna tell you it's on the inside of
Probably.
your house. You know, we've already. been through
And I'll do it.
it. And no, all we did is change our jack.
Huh.
And we got better service at our house.
Well, this is a wiring issue because if the rain's knocking your internet
Yeah,
out,
every
they've
time
got
I-
something real
Anyway.
bad.
Doing the same thing at our house. It was
Ours
knocking
did
us
for a
out
while
every
too,
time.
and I
We
made him
changed
get back up.
phone jack, and we haven't had a liquid
In
trouble
the
since.
house?
In the house.
Ours was
Yeah.
Because I
external.
think it's
Not the
corroded.
one on the gray box service or whatever.
Ours rewired one on the outside of the house to a different box. We have different internet services from CenturyLink in our home. The one for my daughter works all the time, ours works like. And when he came out, he disconnected my phone to hook hers up, and I said, I don't want my phone disconnected. I want my phone, I want my internet, I want her internet. He had to go steal a pair up here because we're out of pairs. There's not enough service in our building up here to service that screech the way it needs to be serviced. That's the problem. He's going to retire in a year and he's going to Tesla himself. He said he'll stay true as long as he's working there, but when he's done, he's gone.
Yeah, he's the same one I had. He told me that.
Oh, I'm
He
thinking
said
that already
he wasn't
too.
staying with CenturyLink. CenturyLink is on its way out.
Yes, it's leaving.
Starlink's supposed to be
It's on
up
its way
soon.
down. So
We're
if
pretty
that
good
guy
at
did
it.
something for you, Stephanie,
Starlink.
oh man, grab him and hold on.
Starlink.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It was
Don't
like
pick
a
that.
person telling me through this guy. So yeah.
I'm
Take it for
excited
what it's
about
worth.
investing in a sinking ship. You know that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Got out, right? Isn't that the
Yeah. Yeah, this part of the country,
yeah
they bought
our section?
some hedge fund. Apollo, I think is their name.
Apollon?
That'd be my bet. Yeah.
I think it's a hedge fund.
But yeah, I mean, CenturyLink isn't gonna spend any, anything to keep
Wow.
it cobbled together.
Yeah.
Other than what they're legally mandated to maintain.
So we have nothing.
So, yeah,
Nothing we can do.
That's what
they
Starlink.
can plead with the county for
Yeah.
Taking the wind out of your sails.
fiber
Starlink,
provider.
that's what, yes, what Starlink is, we take that.
No, you will.
Yeah. Hey, county commissioner, we need a
It's a
fiber.
different- it's a
Yeah,
different
provider,
kind.
is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to your county
Yeah, we
commissioner,
do.
Rodney Allen.
They're lower satellites that run constantly.
Wamigo could
Well,
build
for
down
the-
here, or if SNA telephone
200
could
nuts
build
and
up, or
200
one of the other
down.
providers
thing
that are
is actually
halfway
really
nearby
good,
that have fiber.
Unlike Mercury.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Have you had any dealings with Mike and the internet out there at the Bait House?
I have not.
Okay. I just wonder if how old the wiring is out there, if maybe they could use a new jack, new wiring. Because I do know it sounds ridiculous, but I do know that if you reroute it, rerun fresh material,
Yeah.
just that little clean connection will speed things up a little bit.
Well, I mean, they should be responsible up to that little gray box on the
Yeah.
side of the. I mean, it's always on the side of the house. I assume there's one on the side that they.
Yeah, it's on the side of the building.
Yeah. So
Depends
I
on
mean,
how bad you nag them.
that's their
I
wiring.
know,
They
right?
should be replacing that. I mean,
I'm talking about from the gray
I'd keep
box
bugging 'em.
inside to
I had
where
to call him
you're
once and get him.
plugged in.
Well,
one day he
that
wouldn't
would-
go up
yeah.
the pole.
there's a
my
possibility
phone
you could
line.
replace that.
It could be
Because it was too windy
27
that
old
day.
phone lines
It was
that
annoying.
are 10 feet long.
It's
cut
like,
off,
I'm
and somebody just
9
went
months
and
pregnant
went
at the
on.
time. I'm like, thanks for
Get
knocking
rid
my
of-
phone out and
eliminating
not
those
fixing
will
it.
help.
I don't need
You
that
can
or
kind of
anything.
tell by
Yeah, I
taking
was hot.
the service out and then just plugging something.
they went
into
right back
service
out the
there and
next day.
testing it in that gray box.
Because he
And if that's
jiggled the
still good,
line.
then yeah, you problems inside.
Okay, is there
Okay.
anything else we need to discuss?
Did we talk about the trash at the rope
I
swing?
know somebody.
Because I know
complained
somebody
about that
emailed again last time, and I know we brought it up for a second, but
Yeah.
it's wrong
I
name.
pick it up every day.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I even went and bought a pickup and a trailer so I could haul the trash can over so that the trash guys would pick it up.
Because they were talking about they've been picking it up too, or something like that. I think
the kids.
the whoever had emailed us.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't.
The adults.
The kids, yeah.
That's the big problem.
Yeah.
They just leave it strung all over the
Right.
place.
Is there any way that they can put a swimming permit or something
over there?
Yeah.
You
Is
have
that
to
what the
regulate
police-
it.
How would you police that though? You know, I mean,
I
how
don't know,
would
but
you?
there's, I mean, they have huge parties and they block the road. You can't get around there. And.
Well, if they're
it's
blocking the road, I don't know why you wouldn't
That's-
just call the police.
Oh, right.
People live there, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
kind of the
just
same
if they're
thing all
doing
the way
that, you
around.
can call the county. Yeah. If they're doing that, you can call the county and ask the sheriff. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, they should be supporting you guys. You pay taxes out
We
there.
literally called on some of that stuff and it's like, yeah, you're like the fifth caller, you know, or whatever.
There's somebody.
I would get a little rude.
Why didn't I know this a month ago?
And we have sheriffs that live.
Yeah, because there's
You
20
want
some
free
kids there
plastic
should
bags.
be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
Tracy.
yes, underage parties over there all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
You'd think that would pique their interest, but
I don't
Well, I
actually have
take your
personal
pick,
attachment to
underage
this
parties or
road
blocking
at
the
all.
road or.
I don't swim anywhere. There's
What you need to do with
Right.
that is you need to go to a commission meeting on Monday morning and you need to talk to the sheriff. He's at those meetings and the commissioners are there. They are responsible for our law enforcement in this county and they have to pay attention to what's going on down here. And the only way that you can get their attention is when you talk directly to them, get it directly put in the minutes or on camera, and they are held accountable that way. We've got some deputies that are very interested and want to come down here more, but they have to be scheduled to be down here sometimes, and they can't be down here as much as they want. So I don't hold the deputies responsible so much as the scheduling that's done and the fact they're not taking it serious when we call. And everybody out there, you guys support the county a lot out there, and they need to pay attention to you.
well, there's kids jumping off that white building with the metal overhang things. They'll climb up there and they'll jump off those metal rails out there.
Swim at your own risk.
Jumping off the water
This year,
concrete
Yeah,
tower
but
thing. They're
that's
blocking the
flying.
road and underage drinking are all still illegal. So
Yeah.
those things need to be stopped, regardless of how stupid they're being in the water.
Yeah.
Well, underage driving of golf carts around the lake needs to be
Yes.
stopped too.
Oh, yes, all of that.
The Lake
And the boats
Improvement
themselves?
District finally did do something and that the county they are required to have a licensed driver on any moving,
I saw that in the
You have
paper.
to
and
You
drive.
got a
they're
sign right there.
register their golf carts.
But
This is the
that's not
first time.
working yet.
Not
No, it's
yet,
not.
no.
This is the first time I've heard that they're blocking the roads when they have parties.
Oh, yeah.
We went through, I mean, they're just where you can just squeeze through.
On
You know,
a,
they're
on a
not-
golf cart or a side by side or,
They,
I mean, but if you have a big truck, you couldn't get through there sometimes.
But anyway, that's what you need to do, because there is a division
No,
there.
then it needs to
Your
get
tax
shut
money,
down.
it goes to them and they disperse it. So the county, and you can call up there to the clerk and find out what time the meeting is. They have a meeting every Monday. 3 commissioners, the
see,
sheriff
that's-
is there.
Yeah, 'cause our neighbor, we talked about that. That's just like, even on the big holidays, you know, they bring the side by sides and everything in, and it's like, you know, we'll gladly pay a permit for the lake to drive our side by sides on it. We have no problem with that. And I think the visitors need to do that too. I think that, you know, the beaches and everything, that just the people that come in, that they're not paying anything. They don't have any taxes there. They don't have nothing. And, you know, they get to use all this, but they've got nothing invested in it.
Nothing invested.
And there's
At all.
a big sign right at no dogs unless they're on a leash.
Oh, yeah, that gets
And-
totally ignored. They have dogs running all over that beach.
All
We
over.
like to swim at the beach because it's, you know.
Are you talking about
it's
the one by the dam or over there by the bait shop?
No, by the
By the
bait
bait
shop.
The real one.
Okay.
And, you know, we spend a lot of time over there and it's just, it is really, when you pay the taxes and you're doing everything over there, and then you just see people just absolutely not caring anything about the rules and stuff. And I just think a small, like I say, a day pass, a family pass, or whatever would be really good for the lake. I think it would bring in a lot of money if they're gonna do that. And it don't have to be big, you know, it can be a $5 family day pass, you know, to get to.
You city people aren't gonna like that.
How you gonna control?
Yeah, I would not want that.
Well,
for
I mean,
our
you'd have to
city
put,
employees
Right.
there.
but then how do you distinguish
You'd have to
I know
put tags
the-
in cars.
the traffic from the homes and residences from the,
Right, or the campers or.
yeah.
Well, why couldn't it just be an additional permit, just like the fishing permit?
The people in
Yeah.
Eskridge are not gonna wanna do that.
And
And
I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
want-
do
we
that
have
to
that
the people
for
of
free forever.
Eskridge.
We just need people.
I'd
to
rather
have
give
that.
them free rights than,
Yeah, I hate to deny anybody the access. I mean, that's what it's there for, is recreation.
Well,
What
I
have you.
never really thought about that. I
That's
never
we
what's
just
thought about
women
ban
that.
golf carts on our side of the
Typically,
lake.
Are Eskridge residents,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
They race around the lake.
I mean, it'd be
We-
nice if we had the lawn.
We can't govern the roads. We
Yeah,
have.
I know that, I just,
And by the time somebody from Alma gets over there, well,
they're
good
gone.
luck finding them, but finding them.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they've decided to finally try and get an ambulance over here in Eskridge. Maybe they'll decide to assign a deputy over here, or maybe we can even get somebody to work part-time for us. We've talked about it and we've advertised it a little bit, and
None of the officers from around here want to do it.
why?
Actually, that's not true. I did hear there was one local. that
Yeah,
does.
I heard that one was, and they said they were
Williams.
going to go talk to the
'Cause that's-
sheriff, and they didn't ever get back on that.
Not. But go ahead.
He's got to get permission to do it, and I don't know that he'll
Right.
get it. So that's what the
Okay.
problem
That's-
is.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Because after they had that brilliant idea to charge us $35 an hour, I
After
don't
saying
think we'll see
20
anything.
The
originally.
county is not going to give us their people to work part-time in the city.
But-
Oh, I
If
know.
that happens.
I know. I
Well, but you were talking about their free time. They don't have free time, and so the sheriff tells them
they can
can't work.
dictate whether they can work for a second entity. Any job that
Absolutely.
you work
Well,
at
I
can
knew
have
that
that
probably was
situation.
happening because I've had 3 deputies that I've talked to in the past year that were
Yes.
interested in
Mhm.
working part-time here. And I would tell her to be ready to have somebody
I've
who come.
noticed that
and they
after they
say-
gave us that quote for
Then they say, well, we'll go talk to the sheriff and see about that. And the last one was the fellow that lived here in town.
Mhm.
And I never heard anything from him until a couple weeks later, and he apologized and said that he wouldn't be available.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm sure
So
they can work
maybe
in enough time
maybe
then.
I need to go to talk to the commissioners and the sheriff in person and not have Brett go instead. Because I think they're just ignoring what you told me that you would talk to them, and it didn't come.
There's no use to do
Talk
that.
to the sheriff
To the sheriff?
at a meeting and ask him why he's
Oh, I've
talking to-
spoke to the sheriff.
Isn't he?
Well, it hasn't done any good, right? That's right.
I
Yes,
know where
ma'am.
he, I know where he
Deputy-
stands, and I've told you where he
Deputy-
stood.
The deputies have been sick and the sheriff's been out of town. The undersheriff has been acting. They were down to 2 deputies. They have been very short.
Oh, this is a long time problem.
Oh, I mean,
Years.
recently, there's a real
Yes.
problem.
Yeah.
It's a
No,
years
they
long
respond, when we have a problem, they respond. And there's no complaint there, but to a serious complaint, I should say. But yeah, so we're not complaining about that. We were trying to hire someone to work here about,
I just want to let you know, they've been quite ill recently.
Debbie, do you have anything else? on
But I would
complaint?
send somebody else besides yourself.
Yeah, I know
if
he
you're
doesn't
gonna
like
go
me at
to
all.
it.
Which
I've
is
heard
too
Tim
bad.
has some complaints, so.
I've had some people complaining about the stuff that's across from the bait house, right across the gravel there, where that floating.
My chunks of wood and that floating bar. Been trying to sell that floating bar. I'm gonna load it up and bring it home. I can use the wood.
And the grass around the playground area, I thought that you were gonna do the weed eating around that, and it looks like it hasn't been cut in a couple months.
It's been cutting. It hasn't been cutting this month or part of last month because I wore 2 weed eaters out trying to keep around where Jim won't get off his mower and move stuff, and mow it, so, I gotta get another weed eater.
It,
Get
what,
that
what it,
weed eated
what
again.
she's talking about, when the boys mow out there, they should move the picnic tables and mow. Like you would at your own yard, and if they're not doing that, and then she and Dave, your son, are doing the extra weed whacking
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, I've worked 2 weed eaters out.
Well, and then also if we're gonna talk about being sick,
Well, that's just the
it's not
size.
bronchitis, that's,
Yeah, I have a few
Okay,
issues
go ahead,
right
Tim.
now,
sorry.
but, I'll get all that. I was using that spot to chop wood
I know.
to, we talked about that.
It's just that every once in a while it grows to a point to where it,
Yeah, I was gonna get that all cleaned up this month, but I've had bronchitis for 3 weeks now and a few other things that I'm having some problems with, so.
the cattle panel there. I think we should send Mike or somebody out there to pick up that cattle panel.
Oh, yeah,
It's laying right on the end of that.
Unbelievably
concrete dock.
dangerous where it is right now. They pulled it out of the water.
Yeah, we pulled it out of the water. I think it's from the dock, but I'm not
If this is a
sure.
concrete dock right now, it's laying right here
Right there on the
where
end
you
of
walk
it.
it. I mean,
yeah, they can pick it up and take it to the
I just,
shop.
that
I
definitely
hadn't talked to
needs to
Mike
be
because
dealt
like I
with.
said, I've been sick.
And I
Chicken,
had somebody
don't-
send me some unfortunate photos from the men's room this weekend. It's quite unfortunate.
Really.
Oh my gosh, it's bad. I'm not gonna dwell on that.
Okay.
Um,
I'll go check it out because I leaned it Friday and Saturday. I don't think I got to it on Sunday, but
it was Saturday morning when the person took the photo.
really,
Mm.
so it must have.
Yeah, it was.
Before I got out there and got it cleaned.
So do we have somebody, instead of smearing the shower now, they're smearing the toilet?
You haven't had anybody shit in the shower this year.
They just did that all last year. Jeez.
Who's in that last site in the primitive?
Police were out there going through the things tonight.
There then, or are they gone?
They were there when I came through.
Okay. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask who. I don't want to hear a name. I just,
He's been out there about a week. I think.
Oh, he's been out there longer than that because I've been getting text messages for over a week from people.
So,
It was a lady
Attendant.
from here in town, Shannon, and it's her relation.
Shannon
I can't think of her last name right off the top of my head.
Pressure.
No,
Well, but that's not her,
it's
what's
an
Shannon's?
older lady.
It's tornado.
But-
Tornado.
Tornado, yeah.
What's that?
Tornado.
That might be what it is.
my concern is when I drove by, I saw tarps and stuff laying on the ground. I don't know how long they've been there, but our reasoning for not having somebody in one site for more than 2 weeks at a time is because we don't want them killing off all the ground. Tarps out there in the sun. I don't know what they're doing.
Tarp, they cover their, they have
The
them.
car that has no windows.
Yeah. Well, the windows are there.
They're just shattered to
You
where you
just
can't
shattered
see a
it.
half inch
Um,
anywhere.
Is that
I
the little
followed
yellow
them.
bug
Yes.
that was in at the grocery store the other day?
I
Yes.
saw that.
And they
How
drive
does it
all over the
drive?
How
place.
can they?
And they have 3 dogs, 5 cats, and I didn't
I didn't
see the
know.
goat,
I didn't,
but I was told
What?
I
about
didn't
it.
see any animals a couple times.
this is getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah, I drove by and it said 5 black cats all
Real
circled around the.
Yeah,
It's
that's
time
what
for
I
them to
Because
saw.
I haven't seen any animals.
I've got a
out
picture
there.
of the cats.
This is what's called homeless
I took a
people,
video.
probably.
Oh, it was probably
Yeah.
like that one that I had to run out of the shower because they come down there and first it was in June. It was staying down there and they'd come and take showers and be in the shower for 2 hours.
So they're
Well-
paid up for how long?
I think they're supposed to leave tonight. I'd have to go look at that. I'd have to go look at the thing.
Do we know why the cops stopped down there?
Don't know why. All I
Enough
know is they were there
complaints?
when I drove by.
Probably.
This right here.
I don't know that this has been done before, but I think that we should deny them camping privileges.
To who?
The people that we're talking about.
Well, the
Well,
lady
they're
that
not-
lives here in town, and like I said, I'll have to go get the permit. I have to turn this week's permits in.
Yeah, are they related to her or something?
This morning.
Are they related to her?
Yeah, they're some relation.
Well, apparently Brett has gotten complaints. I have gotten complaints. And I talked to somebody Saturday that said that they have like a bulldog
Obviously.
or something.
Or they do it
They have
when
a short,
say-
fat dog that was clear over by the beach area messing with another camper's dog.
See, I hadn't seen any animals out there, so evidently when I drive down there, they have them put up somewhere. Cause I
I
haven't
gotta
seen
go,
them.
I can't believe you ain't here to Bowling.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the dog and people.
Well, no, because they said there was a big dog, and then there was a goat and two smaller dogs. Saw the big dog,
That is
saw
so
the two small
bizarre.
dogs.
Wow.
What? Sorry.
Yeah, cause I hadn't seen any of the animals, and I drive down there every morning.
So
And-
it's up to you guys to chime in here. But
Well, I do think
that
if
we
they're
deny
not
their camping
following
permits
rules.
just based on all the complaints that we've had. That's not the
Yeah.
kind of people.
If
Well,
they're
yeah, we
legitimate
had the sheriff out
complaints.
there today. I haven't been out there yet.
Are you
I
talking
will
about
say
the
no,
ones
they've
that
been
were
out
down on
there, and this
Pine on
is-
the east corner? They've been there longer than 2 weeks. Because they were out there 3 weeks ago when I went out and did late stuff because I was thinking, man, that's a lot of junk and trash around for.
I'm gonna say it was
Camping over
10
the
days ago the
weekend.
first time I got it.
They're not supposed to be in one site for more than 2 weeks anyway, so that's every campground's rule.
Are they
No, I
tent?
I didn't see no animals, but
Yes,
I
tent.
just kind of glanced over.
We have that rule for tents too?
Well, every campground
Actually,
is
it's
grass.
Oh, yeah, I would think you have to move your tent.
You need to move it around.
In other words, you can
Keep it
be in a spot for a while, but you gotta move your equipment around.
Well, I checked at
Is when I
Melbourne,
first got it.
where I camped last, and their rule is 2 weeks in one site, and then once we tell you or you volunteer, whatever the case is, you move to another site, you get 2 weeks there, and then you're not coming back to our campground. Period.
Right.
They don't want
There's a lot of
transients to
them
live there.
I don't know the
It's not a
science behind why
permanent
they made that
residence.
decision, but that's what they did.
Well, no, I'm not talking about
Well, I'm
transient, I'm
sure-
just talking about people that.
I'm sure that's where the
Yeah.
limit comes from, is people staying too long. Because Melbourne does have a free campground. So part of that is we don't want it full
You gotta keep moving
constantly.
them on, yeah.
So yeah, they want people to camp, not the same person to camp the entire summer. Then they're living there. So it's a campground. You gotta keep it for the right.
Well, if
The
they're,
fine
if today was
person.
their last day or tomorrow's their last day, then to
I'll
after
have to
move
go
on.
look. It was either tonight or tomorrow that they would, unless they come in and paid up some more today. Like I said,
Well,
I got
and
knocked
if
out
they're that
today.
undesirable, you can reimburse them and ask them to move on.
So you want me to go tell them to move?
Not tonight, tomorrow.
Okay.
And they might
Yeah.
not be there when you get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have any concerns for your safety, then make sure you're not alone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, please don't do that alone.
I mean, I'm not trying to judge them. Saying
Yeah, they were
If
okay
they're-
in the store.
if they might get irritated in that spot.
Yeah, you think you need backup, I definitely have the sheriff come down. Tell him you need him.
Is there more on your list?
Okay.
There you go.
I had somebody complaining because he called and tried to reserve something, and he had great difficulties with the person who answered the phone. It wasn't you. So he drove out there, and he got extremely frustrated because he ended up saying, just let me type my information in. I'm trying to be very delicate here, but I've had that type of a few times. So
This month,
yes,
I haven't been out there much this month, but like I said, I've had bronchitis for 3 weeks. I just now getting over it.
that's why I was wanting to go into executive session for that very topic alone. But
That's fine.
anyway, I don't want to dwell on that. I just wanted to let you know about that situation.
Part of the problem with taking over the phone right now is, like I said, the phone is.
I don't know the internet situation. We've got to get that figured out.
The phone's been crappy the last month out there.
Yeah.
The internet's been fine, but the phone has not, it's been in and out almost the whole
Your phone too?
month. Yes.
So it's basically the whole
Well,
day.
I think it's
The whole
day.
I was just wondering if she had a
It's-
bad jack.
The technician called me on Friday, I think it was, and said that they found a bad card in Salina that was causing the grief.
A bad card in Salina.
Hmm.
Modern technology.
And this other item, I think you've already spoken to. I have another person that comes out here about once every other week, and he buys a 1-day fishing permit each time he's out here. And he said last 3 times he's been out here, nobody's ever asked him about a fishing permit. So he hasn't had to pay the last few times.
Really?
Any complaint to you about that?
I was
What a
talking to him
nice
about
guy.
fishing, and he didn't know who I was.
Uh.
He didn't know my position. It
Yeah.
was- I didn't let him know either.
It's undercover, Tim.
Yeah.
Undercover,
I mean,
Tim.
I don't walk around and ask everybody all the time. I just kind of.
If he's been out there that
And if
often,
he's been
I
out
thought
there a
he-
lot, I probably think, oh, well.
He's
okay,
probably paid enough money for a year's
Right.
permit anyway.
He's probably paid for a year permit.
Well,
I think I know who you're talking about.
Or everyone's got 2 fishing licenses out there.
That's
So
it.
I got one guy that comes out and buys 5 day, and then he'll come out the next week and buy 5. I said, you might as well just bought a year. You just paid for a year. But he doesn't know if he'll be back out again or not, so I think I know who the 1-day guy is, though. And he's bought a lot of 1-day passes.
That's
He,
Maybe I
he
should-
buys more worms than he catches fish. I can tell you
Yes. I know who you're talking about.
that. Can't fish to save his life. It's a good thing he can buy a hamburger. That's it.
He buys them by the 2-3 dozens at a time.
Okay. Stephanie, Mike's not here. Stephanie, do you have? All right, Mike. Anybody else have any questions for Debbie?
Did you write anything down or no?
You have, no. Yes?
I have
No?
nothing.
You were the one that said write things down.
I wrote things down. I followed his instructions.
Well, I got one more question.
Go ahead.
They've been complaining about can't get to lake to fish over the area. We gotta come up with some way to trim that all back. I cannot keep up with that with weed eater.
One year we had the county or the township and they had one of those mowers that reached over like that.
That's what you need.
A brush hog. A
I've
brush
wanted
hog
us
was-
to buy one of those. I've mentioned that. when we've- I still want one.
Township's got one, Wilmington. They used
Does
to
it-
have
does
one.
it-
one?
And I don't get.
Like
paid
they've
enough
never,
for
he's
weed
never
down
latched
there.
onto it when I brought it up.
Well, what is it attached to?
And I
I
thought,
know, I've
Sure,
never seen him
or
turn
a-
down a purchase for a toy.
Let's text him and see.
Oh yeah, he'll be all over it, I'm sure.
You might have to show up to the
Want
next meeting
Mike.
now.
You want Mike
It's
to
always
buy
expensive
something?
when he shows up at a meeting.
I know the city has a weed eater with a blade on it, and Jim should be able to use that for a lot of the stuff that's got.
He doesn't
They're out
weed eat.
there. I know that would be hard to do, but they do own a weed eater with a blade.
did you
That
hear
should-
Dolly?
Oh, no, I can't hear her.
Sorry.
What'd you say?
Yeah. I said he doesn't, I don't think he weed eats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
Why
he
not?
doesn't.
I don't know. I found that out.
well,
So
I mean,
I'll
I'm just
ask him.
saying, if Deb's not supposed to and he's mowing and weed eating, I know they have one with a blade because they've used it and they've done miracles with it and done a really good job with it. So I don't know why Jim couldn't use it.
Back in the day when Joe worked for him, they had one with a blade. He had a ball with it. Well, I don't know.
Oh, I bought a blade to do that ledge with. And it takes the blade to keep that all down, but I don't get paid enough an hour to do along the lake,
I got you.
you know, shore right at the lake.
All right, that sounds like a mic. Let's,
Yeah.
I wonder how hard it would be to wrap that cattle panel around those trees, cut it off and then wrap it around another tree. Might get two
It's
wraps on
the
it.
cattle panels, I'm thinking it's not gonna wrap around those trees very easily.
It's the cattle panel you're thinking of.
Yeah.
you'd have to probably use a
roll.
welder to weld it or
They
something.
don't.
They don't bend real well.
No.
They don't roll.
I mean, they'll snap
But we
back.
do
It'll
need,
break.
we do need to put something around those trees better than what's there.
I'm sure we could do something that looks more appropriate.
Okay, we need to move on, folks.
Okay.
Anything else? Annie?
Oh,
I have
Stephanie.
nothing to do.
All
Do
You
right,
skipped
you want me
Stephanie.
to talk?
yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna back you, but I forget when I said your
No.
name earlier.
So I do have stuff.
All right, Stephanie's got some stuff.
Okay, so I didn't have not a whole lot on this for time's sake, but I did read as a lake permit because the thing that we did purchase for billing and licensing, do you remember that? Then I started thinking, well, why couldn't I make that into like taking permits and stuff? It can be done. However, the guy that I talked to suggests that we move into this other program, that it would all be online. People could do permits and everything online. We would get a big discount since we did billing and licensing. Still getting more information on that. However, so sorry, billing and licensing, the thing that we currently have, I still need to get with Chris and see if that's even possible because it's all going to depend on, because it's all server based. And I don't know if the lake, because the answer from Mike was, well, the lake isn't really on the server. It's like, it's complicated. So I don't know. I'm lost. So whether or not that's a possibility, which would be free,
What's the program you want to do?
it's the same. It's my program. It's kind of like, instead of server based, it would be internet based. And he said basically everything would be on the internet, like utility billing.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It wouldn't just be permits and everything. Like we could set up everything and then everything would be in the cloud and we would go from there. And he said a lot of cities are moving this way. So basically, let me see. Which gets really confusing. I should have printed it off for you guys because Justin, you would probably know more about this than me. But our discount, let's see, receipt management. We're looking at like maybe $999 for like a yearly cost added to what we already pay. We're paying, let's see.
Is it a subscription, like monthly?
Yes. No, it would be like a yearly. So
Okay.
with utility billing, we have to pay like a yearly fee already.
Okay.
And this would be added to that, I would imagine. But we're still talking back and forth, and I kind of need more information from him as far as we've only had one conversation as far as how that works. But if you guys were interested, I could talk with him further and see about setting
So
everything
that
up.
would alleviate doing the permits and stuff, having to go out there and do that.
Yes, and it would come directly to the
Which
city.
means then the caretaker wouldn't be doing that anymore. Correct.
Well, they would still be taking
They
like,
could still accept payments, but it would show on her system.
But they
right
would be
away.
doing
because the one
less
kind
than
of
half of what
difficulty,
they're already
in my
required to do.
opinion, the one like flaw, I guess you would say, of how we do it now, is all the permits are paid to the bait shop, and then the bait shop comes in with the receipts, and then they pay us a check. So instead of doing all that, like they would pay the city directly, and it would go directly into the city's account. And it could be done online. It would be done right then and there. Like if someone wants to book a site, they could literally go on, book a site, pay with their credit card. Done.
If somebody showed up at the bait house and said, hey, I want to camp right there, that spot that's open, then they pay the caretaker. Would the caretaker go onto this
Yep.
site,
Yep.
book it, and then pay the site? And
Yep.
then that's how, so
Yep.
there would be no transaction between the caretaker and us for any of
Right.
that at all.
Right.
That's a plus, yeah.
So that's my solution too on this
Yeah,
program.
so I saw you had that too, yeah.
Is that- Is this the same one you're talking about?
No,
No.
it's not.
So
Oh.
this
It
is
just
our,
does
this is
utilities.
our,
Some-
yes, this would be everything. This
That's
is something.
extending the functionality.
Mhm. So they're going more online because he said that's the direction of everything right now. Right now it's like server based and it's just us holding that information on our server.
Kind of dangerous.
So do
because
they
you can
do-
lose it all?
Like, are they actually like set up for
Don't
permits,
say
like
that.
for different campsites
You
and
back up.
things that other municipalities have, or is that kind of like adapting, you know, what's in place just for the billing aspect of the permits?
Okay,
Good
sorry.
question.
Again. So do they already
I
have that in
couldn't-
place?
I probably couldn't duplicate if I tried to ask. Now, what did I ask?
Can I reword your
Don't
question?
be a
See if I-
lawyer.
Go
I'm,
for
just-
it.
I'm curious if your question. Okay, this summit, they help cities do their billing, correct? But most cities don't have a lake.
Right.
Is this an added thing to their regular program?
Yeah, so it would be like right now other cities can adopt it to like anything. So say someone comes in and they want to buy water or they want to like get a different permit for
Say they own a swimming
anything.
pool and they're paying.
Yes.
whatever.
So you can adopt this to basically anything. It's
So it's
set
very
up to where
versatile.
we could do our own permits, set it up, it prints out whatever we want it to say. They can literally set it up to do whatever.
Is that kind of what you asked?
Yeah. I think so.
So you have to pay $999 extra a year.
So
for
I
the-
need to look on that because that
Predominantly
also might
applicable.
be like there's other
I know.
fees in here.
proportionately.
I don't want to get rid of you again.
So we had something for COVID that was some deal we paid that allowed us to accept stuff online. Is that the same thing or is that different or?
It would be different. So that would be
Okay.
the other problem is it wouldn't be a problem per se. We talked about that. We would actually lose that, but we wouldn't lose it. It would direct them to another site and it would be like we're now accepting payments here
Okay,
rather than here.
okay, gotcha.
So it's kind of
Were
like
we
a
using like a third
different-
party then?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
Does it
Yes.
process your payments for you? Like, does it charge a fee per payment
does.
process? Okay,
Mhm.
do you know what the fee is? Is that
It's like 2% or something like that,
good? Okay.
which it charges the customer when they go.
Yeah,
on.
no, I know
Yeah.
that stuff.
So you could do
If
this the same
you
way.
don't pay that fee, that additional part, can you still make your utility payments online? Like, I know, cause I know we switched over to like, people can pay online now.
Mhm.
So I guess it's really just adding the lake portion that this would be, right?
Right.
So- okay, that's the difference. Or is there gonna change your utility payment format too, or not?
I don't know. I didn't really.
Okay, that's all. I'm just.
Like as far as like the bills that you guys get? Or?
No, I'm just saying if it changes that portion or if it's all just new for lake.
No, so it would change. I think it would change the like where people go to like pay their
online.
bills.
Okay.
It would change it, I would think,
Okay.
slightly. But I think so. What it would do now is like it would redirect you. So if you logged on,
And then you pay through that.
yes, it would
portal.
be like, oh, now
Okay.
we go here to pay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It
at all?
does. That's what my husband's new job is actually.
Oh.
Is the people in between the transaction. Yeah,
Interesting.
it is. Go ahead.
but well, like this would be for utility bills. This would be for everything.
Everything.
$1,000 a year, we could accept online payments for like pretty much anything that we would invoice for.
Yeah, so I need to look at this invoice more thoroughly and his email more thoroughly, but that is what. Because we get some big discount because they're offering a $1,200 discount because we purchased the utility billing internet last year. And then another $1,000 discount because of like the software that we
So
use.
will it at some point in time
Yeah.
jump
To
up
three,
to
3,000.
That's
3,000?
probably what I need to,
Yeah,
Because that's a
talk
chunk.
to him about.
Okay.
good question.
Okay.
Yeah, the bait and switch.
Right.
Get you hooked on that.
Yeah. So I'll get more information for you.
Okay.
And
It sounds nice, so yeah. The price is a little off-putting, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, if that's with discounts, that's still quite a chunk.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So. Do you have
No, go ahead.
no? Do you have
I'm
other
done.
stuff? I'm done with questions, but
No,
Okay.
that's all. And then you guys have your monthly sales. Monthly sales for the bait shop.
Oh.
City
All
permits.
right, Sally?
Animal stuff is, our dog that I got adopted out is doing great. I finally figured out how to keep him in, her in, so that's a good thing. She's gives me a weekly report every week, letting me know how things going. We've sent out some letters about some junky yards. And hopefully we can get them all started and get them cleaned up. And I think that's about it.
Now, did you get up to the residents that I sent? Did you get that message to her about?
Mhm.
Could you show them to the? Do you have them copied off?
I don't have them copied off.
Because this is connected to the noise ordinance that we're going to talk about later. But I just want you to see what we're looking at. Now, is
I
this
know
the
that-
second letter that we sent them or the first letter?
Dogs.
Yes,
Is it
yes, I have
about
a
the
dog
dog?
now, and I've already
No.
talked to him about the dog.
No,
They're
it's
supposed to
not about
get-
the dog and the barking. It's about the music.
No. I know that they just got done putting new windows in. This tablet takes forever to turn on.
Well, where it's on the agenda, I'll wait until we get down to it.
But I don't know what my pictures are gonna do about noises.
It's two connected things to the same property. That's all. You sent letters to this property and I want them to see what we're dealing with. And I want to know, what did you say in the letter? Did you give them a timeline on when they could get it cleaned up? Are they
We
gonna
have-
move the cars or anything or?
What are
Yeah.
we talking about? What
I'm waiting.
address?
On the highway?
Mulberry,
It is over there by Eldon's Leisure.
the house on Mulberry.
Oh, okay. Yep, walk by all the time.
I know because I told her.
I thought we told them to clean it up and they didn't.
I was gonna ask him.
That's
to
what
do
I've
something
been
like that.
told.
Oh, okay.
As people see him empty. His holes in the backyard.
You know, I'm her
Oh,
cousin.
we're still
right?
working on the house over here on the highway.
Who's that?
Yeah, that was my Aunt
Sandy
Sandy.
I don't know what I said.
Yeah, yes.
You can't see the resemblance? God, we sound the same a lot of the time, I think.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
Justin's got it.
she told me something about
I
that.
think my
You can ask her about that.
Yeah.
She's gonna let her-
Yeah.
Cindy.
Because just today I took 61 pictures.
Good Lord.
Some of them are showing up.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
some of them are showing up.
Big
Aren't
shins,
they?
That's what we all met.
Well,
This
yeah,
is-
she's-
you just
my
have to
next thing
thumb
is
through.
we need to check our
That's
ordinance
what it
out.
looks like.
She's got like 6 vehicles.
I've seen it. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I've seen it. plenty.
I've smelled it. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I think we
And I don't
Some
know if
animals
it's-
in the trash.
it's not from that. The smell I got's from the corner.
It was from the trash can.
I'm deaf.
The corner, I've been okay. I haven't
No.
really.
I'm told that there's something dead.
There is some dead in their trash can.
Well, I'll know tomorrow.
Well, it's been a week or two back,
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
but it's
Okay.
been
There
multiple
can't be in the
times
trash can
because
'cause you
I've
would've
gagged
taken
up
it.
that hill a few times.
Yes, I've heard complaints about
It
this
stinks.
numerous times.
It's like
There's
they've
something
thrown it in
dead
for a
on that
while.
property.
It's at their house.
I don't think it's in the trash can because it would have been gone.
True.
Well, and we would have seen.
Are we still talking about the
Yeah,
same
same
property?
Is there running water at this property?
there is, and they pay their bill.
But
Oh, wrong place.
You know, honestly, they've cleaned it up a lot,
no, there's too
but
much.
it's still
There's too
not
much.
great.
Yeah.
So as far as like,
All right, I need to know. All right, I need to know if their toilet works. And I was going to ask Todd if we can actually go into Sony's home and check their toilet to see if it's working because it's been reported that they've been digging holes and dumping stuff in the holes.
which if they have.
And I'm pretty sure it's
water,
not bait.
why?
Well,
Well, if you're not hooked up to the sewer, if they have to dig a line to the sewer, they might not be able to afford that yet or
We
something.
should
Although
do
he
that.
works.
Oh, Lord have mercy. That-
Are we talking about the house that has a newborn baby living in it?
No,
No, I don't think so.
That's a
no,
different.
no.
that's
a
another
different-
one I'm
Totally
concerned about.
different
Down
house.
here.
This site's not even little.
What their,
Where's
but I do
the-
know the health department's been there because I've
There.
seen her there when I picked up trash.
Yeah,
But I do know they have not gone in they weren't in the house
where does that baby go?
With grandma
on the corner.
and mother.
Yeah.
But they don't live in in, not her house, they live in where,
The
who
one
used-
that
who
is-
lived there, the blue house. It's actually across the street from Schlesier's, kind of. No, not Schlesier's. I'm in the
No,
wrong place.
It goes
I'm in the wrong
mother,
No?
daughter, granddaughter. They all live there.
Yeah, they live in that area, but they live in that house.
And they own the
Well,
dentist
it's the
office.
house that
well.
Crystal was
Mm.
living in.
Gotcha. Yeah, a little bit.
That's where the daughter, granddaughter, baby, and mom live.
But that house stuff works.
Which one of the house?
Correct.
How long that crime that it was? Wasn't it like 6 months ago? The
This one?
police were all there?
Oh, the
Yeah.
one that
This
got
one.
shot up? Yes.
Did you guys wanna see him?
Yeah.
Storing things there.
I do. See, I can't do anything upside down. Cause I go on the wrong screen.
How many vehicles?
So where are we now? What have you sent them, Sally?
Huh?
What have you sent them? What have you directed?
See, what you needed to do is
Where are
present
we?
these
Yeah.
pictures plus the letter that you
Nothing.
sent to them so that they could see what you've done because. they're
Yeah,
the
we'll
ones that
send
are
it
gonna have to
tomorrow,
make
but they
motions.
haven't been sent anything. She just took those pictures.
We just
today.
took the pictures today. We're gonna work on the letter tomorrow or
Okay.
Thursday, or
Well, then
whatever
there's no
day.
point
in
next
wasting
day.
time looking at that.
What?
Like, there's no point in spending time to look at the pictures if
No,
we're making progress towards it, so. We all know that there's some issues, so.
But I mean, about
Tax property that's
digging
sold down there on the corner.
holes,
We had that
we gotta
condemned,
have
right?
pictures and
So
proof
then
of
how
that.
do we
yeah, I know that.
go in
I
to
know.
make sure that it's not condemned and it's been fixed up?
And I've
We don't
been,
just
Being
take their
condemned.
word.
It-
Didn't we have it condemned? I mean, we're waiting on it. We're gonna bid
Which-
to
which
tear
house?
it down.
Which
How does
house?
that work though, being
The one
condemned?
behind the.
I don't know,
post
that's a
office.
Todd question. He wrote the resolution to have it torn down.
One on Second? Which one are you talking about?
So
So
Todd wrote the resolution to have it torn down.
and we gonna pay that money and we just auction off because we'd never get it back. So if the house is condemned, don't we have to check it to make sure we're not just gonna take somebody's word, are we?
Which house are you talking about? Are you talking about Sandy Brown's house? That she sold it all?
Behind the post office?
No, Wyron's.
Wyron's old house.
Next to Bush's.
Second Street.
The one we were just talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
Behind the bush.
this one right here.
No,
No, Brian Furman's, they've contracted Brian Furman. He's already working on the roof
What do we need?
I was
and he's
just,
doing construction. They would probably love for you to come and visit and just go through it if you want to.
Which
was
house?
that
Real
I
nice
don't
people.
know, that's a
cause
Todd
the house had
question.
mold and other issues and whatever, so
Yeah, it
I
was
just
gonna
wanna
have
make
to be
sure that we
gutted.
know
We
that.
don't, though, like, require inspections on houses though. That's a Todd question.
So how do we condemn a house to tear it down and then
In the word condemn, I don't think
I don't
we
think we
condemned
condemned
it.
how were we going to tear it down if it wasn't condemned?
Well, we were-
It had a hole in the roof.
We're not
But
gonna
Blight-
tear it down. It's been
Blighted
sold.
property.
It was sold at
So they-
tax action.
They're fixing the blight.
Because
I mean,
we
I-
condemned Goodspeed's house when we tore it down.
Was it condemned?
Yeah, because we were sending people over to put the condemned letters on the house and yes.
We've never, so I never
Oh,
knew
that's-
about anybody putting signs.
Was that
it
because of the
condemned.
no running water and no electricity and all that though?
Yeah, cause you
Cause you
have
can do
the,
it for that.
Yeah.
They,
Deeming it non-livable, I don't think
Yes.
is the same as condemning. I
Right.
think that's a
I think they
stronger
use that
word.
this is a
Deemed
mute,
it as an
this is a mute
inhabitable
argument. It was
structure.
sold at tax sale by the
Yeah.
county.
I thought that's how
And
it's
so then that transferred to the people, and then if we need to get in with it, then didn't Todd say that if we could re-engage with them if we didn't see progress?
Okay, I didn't know
And
that
like,
was the trail
I
behind
don't
it.
know, I see progress. I'm happy somebody's actually fixing something up for a change.
Yeah, and they're
Everyone has
getting and
that.
stuff
I
like
don't want
that.
to
And I want the house fixed up, but I just want to make sure that we're not, if we did do that, that we were going to follow through because following through is not our forte. So that is my point.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I'm confused.
But-
Wasn't that the house they were talking about earlier that they wanted to buy and tear down?
No, no, no.
No, no, no.
That's,
Make
That's
that.
up by Charlie Willard.
Yeah.
That was what Shannon Rusher gave us. It's next to
Oh,
Charlie
they
Willard
want it?
and the
Yeah, these
schoolhouse.
people here want that one.
Oh, the one that she gave us. Okay. I was on Wyrick's house. I thought I was getting torn down and all of a sudden, okay. Just
Yeah,
getting
it's okay.
a little messed up.
We had several that.
You guys
needed
use
to
all
go.
these names. I'm
I
like,
was
what?
shocked.
Me too.
Who?
When
I've been here
these-
forever.
When these people bought
I don't know how you know. I'm very like,
Two people been in those
You know his
houses.
daddy?
Anybody wanna
Oh,
know,
yeah, I know, yeah.
y'all wanna know the history of that
My
house
mom
or not?
goes,
Let me tell you, they were thinking about tearing it down. And they were going to put a different house there, but they felt like a house, a real house would bring more money in eventually 30 years down the road. So they were willing to put the money in it because they felt like it had good bones. They knew they were going to have to tear out a bunch of the walls and stuff like that. So they were talking about it on Facebook and on Eskridge Watch.
I missed that completely, I guess.
Okay. And so
I did not. I
they
saw it.
went and they asked for contractors. Brian Furman contracted with them. And so they're working on it now.
They are trying to get, I mean,
Yes.
utilities on, and they are trying to get someone to live in there. So,
Our
Where
two.
is
and it is her,
And
I
4
believe-
children.
yes. So
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to miss
And
it.
they also would like to hire somebody to help them clean up the grounds. So if you know of anybody that wants to do a little bit of sweaty work.
All right. Anything
Okay.
else? Moving on, yeah.
I know.
Very-
Quite a job.
Yeah. What's this?
Okay, so yes,
2022
the
budget?
2022 budget, we closed the hearing, and my bad, we did not pass the 2022 budget. So if we could do that, we did not. We
I'll
closed the
second
meeting,
the motion.
and there was no motion. Did you, Brett, was that you?
Yeah.
Tim second.
All in favor?
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you
Sorry,
very
I was
much.
like, why is this on here?
No
thought we
kidding.
just
I
talked about
panicked
it.
when I saw that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I panicked when I went back and listened to the minutes.
Turns out we're
No.
on the for 2022.
We don't spend it.
All the projects.
183 Twain Arbor dock permit extension request.
Sally, did you go out and look
Remind
at
us.
this one?
They
Whoa,
are
whoa, whoa,
here.
right now, where are we at?
They're Twin Harbor.
New city
They're right
business
there.
number 2.
183 Twain Arbor.
No,
They're
that
getting-
isn't that the one that
They're asking for an
they
extension.
originally had been approved and they
Yes.
need the extension on time.
Yes. So
So
okay.
no, I did not
Hold
go
on.
look at it because it was, they put it 70.
Okay, listen. So
Listen.
it was approved in August 24th of 2020, and they can discuss it. There's currently no dock there, but the original approval was that they could put a dock there.
By 20.
So they're just coming in and requesting another extension.
Does everybody remember them?
It's
Not
us.
there right here, yeah.
They're right there.
No, I remember them.
Yeah,
When when we applied, permit at that time, you guys needed to go out and look at the spot. Our permit was up before we even got the okay on the dock. They had her buy it when we applied for it. And since you guys approved it last, we've just had a shit show in our family. We have not had time or anything. Medically, I've been down. My back and legs are not working real good, and I'm putting it in myself. I do have everything bought for it now because the price of wood has gone down some. But, and I do have some people to help me get it in.
Oh, bless your heart.
We've had, my dad's wife had died. She had a farm down by Wichita. We had to go clean that up so we could, it's just been.
Oh, I'm sorry for your
a mess.
tragedies.
I'll move to approve 183 Twain Arbor
Second.
extension.
Can we have a second?
Second.
Thank you for coming and listening to all our other stuff.
Thanks for pitching in.
Well, yeah, it's kind of nice. We wanted to come in and kind of with the lake anyway. 'Cause,
All right.
you know, we see a lot of stuff. that you
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? And they all went, yay.
Well, thank you guys very much.
Silly.
So we need to pay for another permit or?
Nope,
Collect that.
I don't think so, right?
We'll do whatever we need to do.
We're talking about,
That's kind of how we.
I think technically they get their money back if they don't build, right? So I mean,
Yes.
it's really
If
just
it's a
rolling that.
denied permit, then they get
How
their
does it
money
work
back.
if somebody
Okay.
reserves a spot for a dock? Like they're paying for that spot, but they don't even intend to build a dock. How does that work?
Oh, that's because they
They
wanted
pay a
to go with the
structure
property, but that's not what they're doing. They were doing, they got stopped
Okay.
because of circumstances.
Okay,
well, they
I didn't know
got,
if it
yeah,
was
they
the
got
same
approved,
thing. I
they just
just wanna
hadn't
make
built
sure.
yet.
They're gonna go in the same spot that they originally.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big
It's
fan of
just-
people paying for an empty piece of ground and nothing on it.
And-
I like
yeah.
that.
Well, and that's why they did it. Is to
Oh,
avoid
yeah.
opening, so. Okay,
Alright,
7-4
next.
Lakeview Circle dock
Thanks, guys.
permit request.
Did you go
Okay,
and get this one?
So, yeah, I was gonna say, go ahead if you want. Did you talk to them, Sally?
No, they were not, they live in Dodge City.
Okay, so,
So
um,
we're all
it is-
good.
You're good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
Take care, guys.
Happy hammering.
Peace out.
they are going to be replacing some boards that are rotten out, and they also want to put a deck on top that's not to exceed 12 feet.
Move to approve.
The deck on top of what? A boathouse?
No, they're dock.
No.
A 12 by 12.
The way
dock.
when I looked at it, they
Take a
want to
picture.
put it added onto the boathouse above this deck's the way I'm looking at it.
Oh, wait, what? Sorry, did I misspeak?
Well, see, they got the boathouse here. The way I'm reading it, the measurements.
Oh, above the dock.
Did you look at
Yes.
the existing dock? Oh,
Yes. So that's what when I went out and looked at it today, that's what because I stood there and
With the
looked.
house. I missed that. Sorry. Sorry.
Because it took me a while to figure it out. So I did the measurements, and that's where I'm thinking they're
Did you see
doing
the
it.
picture?
When I talked to them, yeah, they just said the deck
Have you
on
went out
top.
and
See,
looked
this is
No,
this is what it looks like. I'm thinking they're wanting to do it over this. Because these measurements
To be added.
is this right here.
They talked about it not going over 12 foot, but they don't say if they're the dock. is
But see, it
intended to
says,
replace the
so
current
is it
dock.
a 20 by 24 with the dock and the boathouse?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
but between
So this is making
Between
larger, right?
No, I don't
right
know.
here,
They're
still has
just
the same
putting
build-
a
here to
they're
there,
roof.
building
this
up,
is
it
the
sounds
12
like.
foot.
They're putting basically a roof on the dock.
Yeah.
It's still the same
That's not
footprint.
too
and it's
expensive.
still not
Here.
like
No, they're
it's-
putting a deck,
Yes.
which is different than a roof, right?
They said a roof structure.
The deck
Says
top. So
12 by 20.
They're
you know
wanting
what?
to
Maybe we better see.
Set up there and put a patio on top of the roof and have a deck top.
Maybe I need to call them and ask them. Is that supposed to be a roof or?
No, it's supposed to be a deck.
It's over
And
the
that's what they
building
told me.
now, right?
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
what's 12 by 20?
And that's what it
24 is the whole
says.
When
length.
was the last time we allowed a deck to be
Well,
built above a
the-
dock?
Well, and
It's from
see,
here
I
to
talked
here.
I
to
just think we were doing that.
Mike
Yeah,
about
This is
it,
the
We just built one
boathouse.
and I
last
don't know,
year.
there's several
A
out
deck
there.
over top of the dock.
Yeah.
It's
And I think somebody needs to measure because I think it's too tall.
I don't know.
it's
But I know
16
exactly
from
where it
here
is.
to
It
here.
Right across
does
from
sound
Ralph,
like
you know
they're
where
doing
Ralph is?
this,
Yes.
right?
Right
Yes.
across the cove.
Well, there's
Yeah,
nothing
so
we
when
can
I
do
did the
about that now, but I don't
That's
like
not
that.
But in 24,
not
this is
Do we
where I
need more
think they're
information?
doing
Yeah, because it's this whole area. It
I don't
sounds
know
like,
what other
sounds
information
like-
we would need.
yeah, it's over here because it's
Yeah.
12, and then by 24, it's the whole length of the dock. But this is 16, so this is 12.
My only concern is if this,
They don't
you're
pass it
looking,
around,
you know,
nobody
like,
shares.
here's the water,
They- doesn't
and then
share.
here's the dock. Then they build their deck up here. I want to make sure that this isn't 12 feet. When they put their guardrail up there, this is the 12 foot.
Stephanie knows how.
Okay.
That does look good.
Because I think people are trying to get away with, okay, there's my 12 foot height. Then they put their fence around it and make it 14, 15, 16 feet.
I got you.
And I think that's what they did across from Ralph.
So you think they're wanting to put a,
I know they.
I'm not a fan of allowing them to make their docks double decker.
so they're gonna take this off and
Especially that
They're
area.
just putting the
that's-
deck on top.
off over here?
They do that. It's gonna be hard to see across the lake.
Is
from
that a
the
shed and
houses.
then they're?
We allow them the
the
12
dock
foot
goes
height.
behind it?
What's a rail have to
I
be
mean,
Of
like
rough.
for code? Is it like 3 foot or?
it doesn't say
I
that
mean, I-
anywhere in the ordinance.
I don't know the answer. I mean, it seems like it's about 3 foot.
Some
So
of them have absolutely no rail.
yeah.
I
They
was
just go
saying-
12 feet and put a flat.
I mean, in my mind, because I mean, the pitch of that roof was really, you know.
Yeah, it's.
So
but,
it's
you know, I
almost
don't know.
like
That's a good question.
it's almost like you could maybe squeeze it under 12 foot if you even if you had a rail that was, you know, just barely compliant to code, which I'm not sure is 3 feet, but I don't know. I mean, we could. Yeah, I'd probably just say table it because I think
Yeah.
Tim's right. I think that, you know,
So
12
what do
foot's
you-
12 foot to the rail, but
What I
You
would,
need me to.
what I would like
You
to
should
know,
just start
Sally,
taking bets. I don't know
you're
why
looking
you guys aren't
straight
making
out,
this more
you know,
easy.
this is
I'd
the
like you to
water,
print me
Uh,
that.
this is the bottom deck, this is
Where
the
it
top
says the
deck.
thing. So
That's
that
12
Let
foot
it go.
distance from here to here,
This,
or from here
no,
No,
no, the
after the
ordinance.
handrail,
Okay,
if
yeah.
there's just a handrail.
Yeah,
I
100%.
want to stress to them The 12 feet distance goes
You don't
from
need
this
that.
surface to the absolute top. If
Makes
there's a
sense.
peak up there, if there's a handrail that goes around the side of it, the 12 feet goes from here to
the
here,
peak.
not to this depth. It goes to here.
Okay, see, and I didn't measure the height of the building. I was going by the floor.
That building does not look that tall. That's,
It's-
why I'm thinking,
well,
like,
now
even
let
if
me
they put it
stop
over the
thinking.
peak, you might.
The door, the top of the door into the, where they put the boat
Yeah.
was just
Okay,
barely
so
over
probably
me,
7
so
foot.
yeah, it
I
would
think
be.
what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. This isn't 12 feet wide, is it?
Cause I kinda get a little
Let me look at that.
squirmish.
Oh, I went to sleep. Damn it.
I know, this, it goes to sleep.
The metal building is over the boat slip. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, and if you wanna
No,
see,
join this.
So, no, go back. I want to look.
Just,
Is this 12 feet from here to here?
yes, from,
Okay,
from
so,
that door to
so all they're
the
gonna do is they're
lake.
gonna build a deck above this area right
Yeah.
Right, that's the way I'm thinking.
So they're gonna build a deck above the.
Just the dock.
Above
Just
the
the
dock.
dock,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just the dock.
Open.
Yes.
My
The
only
dock is
concern
open.
is the total final product is less than 12 feet high.
Yeah, and they said it was,
And they said it would be.
so you would have to be measured then to make sure if you wanna.
Cool. Provided they're not
Oh,
gonna
that's somebody else.
build it 12 feet high and then come back.
We took the long way to get there.
Now,
Does
can you
nobody else
repeat
have a
that?
problem with them creating decks above their already dock?
Nope.
Yeah,
They're already.
I
So they're getting a 2-for-1 space for that 125 now, Tim, and you don't have a problem for
I
that?
do not. We've already allowed it.
Yeah.
They get a 12 foot high,
Until we don't
a
allow
12
it.
foot high roof. And if the roof is strong enough for them to stand on, good for them.
True.
They're just putting a roof over the dock that they're gonna repair.
Did we get it? I mean, did we figure this out? Are we gonna approve it or are we tabling it?
I still want to table it. Well, I want to make sure that they understand. And I think this needs to be stressed anytime anybody wants to put something like this. That the 12-foot distance, and the only reason I'm so adamant on this is because right across from where Ralph lives, I watched Johnston build one that I believe the 12 feet is to the top deck. And then they went and put an armrest
Yes.
or a handrail around it,
Yes.
which is 2.5 feet, 3 feet higher than what's allowed.
Because see,
I could be
I
wrong.
questioned that on a couple of.
Maybe
them.
they can go up there and measure it and prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But
And they are talking about a sloping metal roof on
No,
that.
no, no. That's.
That's
Am I
exactly
on the
so
wrong one?
you're on a
I'm on the wrong one.
different
Well, shoot, I did all that study for nothing.
You only get 5 or 6 of them and you're all
Oh,
confused.
yeah, when he said the name, I was like, oops. Okay.
I
so
say we
we're
table it
doing
until Sally talks to them and gets more information.
Okay,
Because
we can do
I
that.
really would like to see a drawing of what they're.
what they're actually,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Nick, they're saying 10, 15, and 21 here anyways, when they'd like to start, and that should be after our meeting, right? I think.
Mhm.
And we can talk about the next meeting, even though it's not the lake meeting.
That's fine.
Yeah, we could.
Should
Well,
Because
we're
if they have their ducks in a
We're
row.
square, we know exactly what they want to do. So
Right.
Oh, I see, so-
that's,
Cool.
Yeah, I'll second.
okay, I will get a hold of them.
all right, thank you.
So Tim, was that a motion and then Andy second?
Well,
Or you're
do
just
we need a
saying
motion
we
to
table?
table?
No,
Oh, sorry, I did motion for that.
no, we don't need it.
Just kidding.
We're tabling it.
Song name.
Let's see. All right, are we on sidewalks on Main Street?
Yep.
All right, sidewalks on Main Street. Sally, did you take any pictures?
Yes.
Are they
I hope
all,
I
do
got
you
what you
have them
wanted, I'm
copied
not
off?
quite
or-
sure.
Sally, yeah, from now on, let's copy some off so we can pass them around.
Well, I think we all know what the sidewalks on Main Street look like.
Yeah,
Block to
all right,
block.
never mind.
What are we talking about? Let's.
Yeah, let's go on.
There's, the people that own the buildings on commercial Main Street are responsible for the sidewalks in front of their building.
Mhm.
The first thing that was told to me when I took over each one of these buildings was,
We remember.
put a new sidewalk on. So, there are some sidewalks along the streets that are damaged enough that it would trip a person.
Mhm.
And so they need to be, that's basically it. And so we need to send letters and then enforce them. We need to send letters
Well-
asking them to,
I just have a statement to say. A sidewalk that has a chip in it, a hazard is a hazard. So you're gonna pick which one is of most hazard to least hazard, Are you literally going to send every single person on Main Street, but maybe 2, a letter? And are you prepared for all of them to come in here?
Well, I don't know. They drew circles around mine and it wasn't even, and they said, now be sure and fix it. I said, I don't owe that.
That's
bill.
not what I'm asking.
So
And
I'm telling
directing it to
you,
the 3 of the other
anything
3
that's
as well.
hazardous, anything that's hazardous, anything that would trip me.
So anything that's hazardous in front of our IGA building as well?
And when we tear that building down, we're gonna replace
But not
that.
when. If you're enforcing it, we're enforcing ourselves at the same time because we're not gonna overlook ourselves to
Well,
enforce
but would
somebody
you
else.
repair a sidewalk, which I'm all fine for patching too. They don't have to replace the whole thing. If they can patch it without water going up underneath it, that's fine with me. All I'm asking for is a sidewalk when I walk down with my cane in the sunlight and stub my toe on an uneven surface, that I don't fall down.
And I understand what you're saying, but I'm just asking everybody, are we all prepared for this? It's a simple question.
There should be no prepare, you mean people are gonna be mad about asking them to make a smooth surface?
I mean, if you're going to send letters to somebody to
Yeah.
force them to fix their sidewalks and you own a building that has the same issue with the sidewalks, they're not going to think that you are going to fix them because you've held on to the building and let it dilapidate for a
I
decade
haven't
into a
done
whole
that.
roof.
Every council before.
So
this
what I'm
has
saying
done
is,
that.
are we going after ourselves or are we excluding ourselves in our building that we have because it's ours and we have
No, because
control?
our building is gonna get torn down.
Let's suggest when we
Very-
send this
very
letter
soon.
out that maybe people want to check in with us and see if we can all collaborate together and get it all done in one fell swoop. Maybe if people on this side of the street do it on this weekend, that side of the street on that weekend, maybe people will be more willing to get on board when they realize.
Well, we can, and it should not be a rude letter.
Are they-
It should be just that we need to repair stuff.
Able to do that
We
going
should.
into winter?
All
here,
sidewalks
or
around
is it-
town.
I don't even talk about that. We're talking about Main Street and we've been avoiding Main Street for a long time. What did you say?
I was
Ann?
to say, is it timing off a bit with concrete and going into cold weather? Because I'm sure they've got a bit of a workload, or is that not a
Well,
big deal? I don't know.
I think
I'm
that
I guess
sure
I'm
they have a
thinking
workload.
Full
Yeah.
replacement, but maybe
No.
we're just patching.
if
You're
they're,
saying like,
pa-
are we
if
gonna
they're
be pushing
paying
into
us,
winter?
Yeah.
So,
no, it should, I would think so. And even if they just do a patching job.
Okay.
And then
Well,
have to
just see
redo
that
it
they're
later.
not patchable.
I would like to suggest again, for probably the 10th time, that the city look into getting a streetscape grant. But I never get any support from anybody else vocally to where I would want to put more time into looking for it because I'm not gonna put in effort to do anything if I feel like I don't have any support, because then why would I waste my time? That's happened multiple times in the past. So is anybody willing to talk about a streetscape grant or look into things or something like that? Once again,
yes.
great.
But
Is there support
is
for that?
there-
or-
okay, well, like as far as the match, what do they?
We've let different streetscape grants under different. I mean, I'd have to look into it, but like I said, I'm not gonna. If there's not the vote. For
I don't know why we wouldn't. I mean, like especially if it was like a, it wasn't that big of a match. I mean, if it was like a 1-to-1 match or something like that, that could be the only thing. It's just like, might be, I don't know what we do as far as like, maybe change the street lights, maybe, is that rehabbing sidewalks? Is that kind of what
Yeah,
falls into it? I mean, I
it would be
I think all that
curbs,
would be great.
sidewalks.
We get our next tax money to spend on
It's not
sidewalks.
till next mid-year, right?
We get it every 3
We
months.
get it every,
right?
we get it every month.
Every month,
So it's
even
the
better.
cruise.
but it's
There
like
was some
$3,000 a
reason-
month, right? Isn't that what
Yeah,
you said?
roughly.
Like $3,100.
I think we
or
just
something?
waited the
That's
first
roughly-
year.
Didn't we
No.
decide that we were gonna wait until a
Well,
certain
we
number of months to
used-
get a certain amount?
Well, because we used a lot of that on the
Sidewalks in the
sidewalks
park and the
that debated it.
Yeah.
So now I should have printed off a sheet. What
Yeah,
was
but ballpark.
what we had last time?
I'm good with both those.
I think it was
Remember?
32,000
Was it?
for debater, 32 to 34.
No. What was it left in our?
Oh, I don't know what's left, sorry.
Okay. So last time, let's see, it's 14,000. So
Okay.
So we have more than enough to fix
At
our
the
own
last meeting.
portion. Both. Well, we had this in
Yeah.
front of this building fixed, right?
We just have like one curb.
Of course, the thing is, if we actually did, have a plan to tear it down in, somewhat near future, wouldn't you want to do that all kind of around the same time, because you're going to have equipment in there and
Breaking up
mess
the
up just
patches
what-
we just put in.
exactly.
Good call.
And I don't want to call anybody out, but it still astonishes me that nobody ever has voiced an opinion about saving it. Ever. It's always tear it down, tear it down, tear it
I've
down.
actually asked for us to have someone paid to go and give us an assessment, because we haven't actually had that.
Well, what's
We've
what's
had
the-
looking to buy it, right?
well, I don't know. I see the inspector
We
for
were
buildings on
okay
Main
when we
Street,
went
but-
through the drought. It was still in savable time. But then when that one person that came in with, John Kemper came in with the suggestion, there were 6 contractors that wanted to buy it.
I'm talking
And-
about our own paid professional, not somebody who was trying to buy it.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I'm not gonna take the word of somebody who's coming into my house to tell me it's junk. Who's
Yeah,
about to buy
I
it.
worked on
I don't
that.
know.
I
Do we
worked
need
on
to-
that. I worked on
Oh,
that.
okay, just an
You know
inspector
me,
that we had.
Can I tell you
Yes.
guys
I'm
something? For you to sit there and say that you're the only one that's been interested on Main Street, that drives me crazy.
I didn't say I was
But,
the only
but I
one
want to
interested
finish
on
my
Main
sentence,
Street.
please.
Just saving
Yes,
the
calm
building.
down.
Me. I wanted to sell Prairie Wind, and I wanted to try and get as much profit as possible so that we could use it on the Main Street improvement, which would probably work into maybe even matching some of the things that you're talking about. It's just that with COVID right in the middle of everything, it just seemed like everything stopped and everything dried up, and there wasn't anybody to consult with because nobody was in their offices. I managed to find an engineer that could help us with that building, but the building is lost. The fluoride's gone, it is lost. And so, but in the,
Did he tell you that? Did he go in and tell
I
you that?
opened up the door and looked at it and the floor is gone.
Yeah, but
But
As
now
I've
the
said
rest of the
before.
building is there and there could be, anyway, what?
I guess I just want to know the comparison cost, because we're talking about the exposure on the tuck pointing. So I would like a second opinion. I don't know nothing about that, so I have no idea if anything needs to be done
Okay.
outside that.
Well, then, if I have I talked to Dan Phillips, who was out at the lake, and he's an engineer. I asked him if he and his company were the kind of engineers that works on stuff like that, demolition or doing something with a large building that could be hollowed out. And he said his office does.
Okay.
When I called this guy, he was getting surgery, and he said he would probably be available in the fall. It's fall.
Okay.
And that's why I have it on the agenda. I was going to talk to you guys about calling him and have him come out, but I need to know the direction that you want to go. You want to look at both things, that's saving some part of the
Well,
building.
I'm interested most in what helps Eskridge save money, because if we can't afford one or the other, that's what I would like to see.
There you
happen.
go.
So
Okay,
whatever is the
okay.
best option is what I would like to see go forward.
All options on the table.
Yeah. So
And then-
if they have a great idea to solve our problems,
Right.
I would like to hear it. That's what engineers are for, right?
I think
Yeah.
it's a cool storefront. I mean, like,
Yeah.
front
Well,
of the
you know,
building, not a storefront,
well,
obviously, but
Underneath
a
that,
cool
it's got,
facade.
there's a real stone under there too, I do believe.
So
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
interested in finding out what
Yeah.
we can do with it. I mean,
Okay, well, we're gonna go in an executive session and talk about some of this that pertains to what we're, yeah. Anyway. Now, we were talking about sidewalks, so I was thinking sending letters to everybody and some people might want assistance, but some people might just patch them themselves, like what DeVader did. He did some patching out of
Some
sidewalks.
people on Main Street are waiting for DeVader to come back to give a bid and him have time to do it because he's so booked out.
I heard
that's
he was
also-
a year.
Yeah.
we have more stuff for him to do, right?
I
The
could
other
break
side.
my neck before then, anyway.
well, my
And
house is
Colby's
gonna be.
booked pretty good too, because they haven't been able to get to the wall that we were gonna do this
Should ask
year.
about that.
And we have the swimming beach wall that they're gonna be doing next year, hopefully, when they get caught up.
The water's pretty right now.
Because the time some took off for COVID, it's catch up and everybody is way back, look back.
Yeah.
So you don't think people could, even consider, well, I think we should send letters out and ask them to see what they have, if they have any ideas, or if they just want to try patching it, smoothing it out. We need to do something. Our main street looks really bad, and the sidewalks is part of the problem too. I mean, you can't walk up and down sidewalks and see broken, potted sidewalks without thinking pathetic thoughts. All I can say is I take care of my stuff. I wish everybody would take care of their stuff, including the city.
I
That
like
is
the
true.
idea of sending a letter to tell people
Yeah,
this is on our radar. At
yeah.
least
Because there's
think about
there's-
getting your ducks in a row.
and
And
there's
getting your
potential
sidewalk fixed.
injuries here that could happen. And it needs to be done. That's why I pay all that insurance money. And I got a good sidewalk.
Does it make sense to say anything about, the city plans on doing the curb on the opposite side of the road and next year, whenever it is, and
I was yeah,
could
and that,
possibly have some,
that
there
is a
might
good
possibly be
idea,
an
Justin.
opportunity for you to,
But the
you know,
city did that
piggyback
when they
on that.
found out I was gonna
Should've
redo
brought it
mine,
up.
then they redid their curbing. But, they did it at times. It sounds like we don't have anybody we could get out to do it right now, but it was nice to be able to match up the sidewalk that I did with their curbing work that they did.
Well, if we give them the suggestion that Justin presented, then maybe
They can say
people
no,
be
work
more
for it.
inclined to get on board and say, hey, if they're gonna save $1, sure, they might be more inclined to. And then maybe that'd get the ball rolling, and I don't know if that would help free somebody up to come and do the work. I have no idea how that would work out, but
We
but
might
yet at
have-
the same time, they know that, yeah, it's on our radar, and if you wanted to fix it in the meantime, you are more than welcome to, because,
Okay, can you do
I
that?
don't
kind of
know,
letter?
that's,
Thank you.
So are the sidewalks the only concern, or what about the broken out windows in the buildings that have been broke out for years?
Okay, yeah, what do you want, what's your suggestion? What are you talking about?
I'm just throwing that out there.
You're talking about Main Street still?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that the bank down the street, they've got some broken out windows, and they said that they had contacted someone that was supposed to come in, but the quote that she told me for the price of fixing that windows was ridiculous, and I gave her a different name, different person
we're
to go
talking the
check with.
law office.
Yeah. Because it was like thousands and thousands of dollars to put in windows. I said, just put in a window. Don't get fancy.
But weren't
Because
they trying to put leaded windows because they're
I
on the
think
National
so.
Historic
I think
Register?
so. But if it's more than what they can afford or more than they want to spend, then how about just a window, a nice looking window that protects the inside? And they
As
can.
long as they're not required.
I don't think that.
I
actually
don't
looks like
think
that.
that. Yeah, I don't think
Isn't that on the historical list?
it
I-
is. But that doesn't mean.
Take
I
a
don't know.
gander at it. You can actually do what you want to your buildings. You just submit it through them when it's on there. I mean, even up to tearing them down. So just FYI, I know everybody has that perception, but we did a lot of research with the bandstand.
Yeah,
and
with the bandstand.
Well, we know that from the National Historic Register
Yeah.
bridge that they tore down at the lake. to
Right.
Put in the culvert.
So just
Yeah.
FYI, like you can do what you want
That
to your building,
hurts.
even when it's registered. But I think that probably the walls are trying to stay true to the building.
And
I don't
that's a
know,
possibility, but
personally,
in the
but-
meantime, they should.
Right.
And so was there any other broken windows? The bank down here? Where's the other?
There's a couple of them.
They have some up top broken on this end down here.
So that's part of our Main Street
Yeah. We do still
ordinance,
need
is
to
we
work on
could
that.
add that, any broken windows, they have to secure the buildings just like the residents do.
What about the bricks that are falling off the buildings on
Mhm.
Main Street?
That's literally-
Those two,
Almost all of them.
almost every building on Main Street has bricks falling
Yeah.
off.
I heard
There's
some,
5 down here,
Mhm.
and next door to the senior center and the cabinet shop.
yeah, and so all of those people, when we write them, because those
They're all
letters
gonna
need to
come
come.
back.
Well, and
And
they.
it's fine, but yeah,
They might
just
come
saying.
back, but then they might also know that they need to take care of their buildings. They know. Or either that or, secure them the best they can and sell them if they can. Do you know if Mike ever checked the sidewalk in front of the senior center? Remember I talked about the.
Oh, I do. I don't know. I haven't asked
Okay,
him.
I'll ask him about that.
I do remember that.
We'll include most of that. Yeah, we can also just refer people to the ordinance that we sent. We sent all of the people that own buildings on Main Street the
Yeah,
ordinance.
but we're still supposed to have a work session on that.
Hmm?
We're still supposed to have
But
still
we haven't
supposed to have
done
a work
that, so we can
session.
at least send a letter to
Apparently.
what.
He's making fun of my speech.
But anyway, well,
But we've got to follow through with that work session.
I mean, so that's why my question is like, should we send another letter or should we really sit down and work on that ordinance and then start kind of working from there, I guess?
if you guys would get together for a work session, that'd be great.
Well, I think we
We
were
did
all
a work
busy.
session earlier and we did nothing about the work session that we did. We
I
met
was
to
not
talk
at that
about
one.
streets and alleys and cleaning them up and cleaning the gutters out and doing it. And we're sitting 7 months later with that special work session that we had that we paid all of us to be here and we didn't do a lick of one thing at all.
I wasn't at that one.
We get paid for a work session?
I commented about getting it
I
done.
don't think so.
We hired 3 part-time employees this summer.
Well, no, I thought
And
that they
nothing.
did work some, and but they
I
took
don't
the
know.
sand that collected on the bottom of the hills and put them back up on the hills. Yeah, I know. I'm
Is that
joking.
different than the one you guys had approving Devader?
Yeah, it
Oh,
must
that was
be.
a special meeting. Never mind. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. Because we couldn't do anything like that in a work
Yeah.
session.
Right.
Well, if we have a work session to discuss that, we need to have Mike there. Because he's supervisor and he needs to commit to doing the work.
He'll get paid for the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yes, you guys. will.
Commit to doing
Unfortunately.
the sidewalk work.
No, we're talking about what
The
you were talking
streets?
about that didn't get done. From that.
We already
work
had that
session.
meeting though. And he was supposed to get the directive to pass on to the part-time guys. And then Tim had suggested that we were going to be having them report to us once a month. So there was accountability for what was getting done and what was not getting done. And
I don't
then
remember
it
that.
was nothing.
I don't remember all that.
Do you remember that? And does anybody?
I mean, of course I remember it.
Not there.
I unfortunately wasn't here. So.
Do you remember, Justin?
I don't know.
And that's when I stressed that the main number one thing I wanted done is to shovel all that sand right out around the corner there by the Wawa office. I remember even saying, I know I'm being a little bit selfish, but because I walk right past that all the time.
I thought you did that.
No, I really
But maybe if it was only done once, that wouldn't have been enough.
Sounds like a bunch of maintenance stuff that we really need the maintenance manager to talk.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I can't speak to that. I don't
No,
know.
no, that's right.
I honestly think that Mike told me that Matt did shovel it all up once,
I can't
but then
remember
we had a
them
rain a
working
couple
because
days
somebody
later
was,
and it would look just
it
exact
went
same.
right back where it was. Because somebody came into the store and said that the guys are working. And I went up there and I think I weighed down or something, but yeah, it just comes right back down. So that goes.
That's why we had talked about starting at the top where it drains and moving all the way down and cleaning it all. So there's
Isn't
nothing
that what
left to
comes off
wash
the
in.
chip and seal?
Correct. But if you clean it in front of the Watt office, then his corner that has chip and seal is going to wash down at the next rain. So that corner and one.
I do know they cleaned some drains out. I do know they did.
Yeah, they did
some
that
up on
down by
hills.
the park.
And then up on Mulvane, they dug that ditch out. Yeah, Mulberry. They dug the ditch out up there to help with the water run. Yeah, because we were having to lift the ditch for the guy. So I know they've done some, what you're talking about, Brett.
I see what you're talking about. That's not anything that I'm talking about,
Okay.
but it's stuff that would have
We're
maybe
related
could
to
be
it.
put into there, but like that has nothing to do with what I was talking about and was expected to be done.
What I haven't done, I remember something else we discussed. What I have not done is gone down the alley behind Nancy Bone, Lisa Cernich, Bennett, that alley right there behind Max Cross. Is that travelable now? Because that's something else that we talked about is how dangerous that alley is.
Well, we
There-
also said that we were gonna start maintaining and doing stuff to alleys, and we've done none of that as well, because that was part of the discussion as well. And the city has always maintained the back of that alley.
Yeah, it's supposed to maintain
Behind-
the commercial ones.
Behind the commercial ones, and
Yeah.
that's why that was.
I
was
don't,
brought
I
up.
think that alley is passable. Come to the side, to the street, you have to be careful how you,
On each end.
yeah, cause it's washed out just before that and then you come over it. Cause I went behind the wall building and I turned around and didn't go down that. But it wasn't cause it was washed out. It's just that it's so steep there. The sidewalk is so steep there. And I kept thinking about the bottom of my van and so I didn't go. I turned around and went the other way. The only way to
Well,
fix that
let's
is
not
to
have
not
this
have-
work session now.
No.
This is all new stuff.
Inspector, okay, so do we want, that we need the lawyer here for that, so never mind the inspector for buildings on Main Street. Because we need to know if they're safe, some of these buildings. What's the KMGA board?
So we need to appoint to, sorry, what were you saying, Justin?
Well, I was just gonna wonder why we needed Todd to talk about inspectors. I don't,
Well, if we're gonna go into, if we wanna ask somebody, if we're gonna go in their build in their place to inspect a place, get an inspector there to see if the building's safe. I would think we'd have to have permission or something.
oh,
I don't know.
on to another, okay, you're not talking about the
No.
IGA. Okay, gotcha.
No, the IGA, yeah,
You're talking about all buildings on Main Street.
So now you're inspecting buildings.
that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about. Do we want to do that? Because the building down the street had a hole in the back and she says she's fixed it and that's good. But I would like to know if this floor is safe to walk around in that building. And there's just different buildings that need to be safe. We need to know what kind of shape they are, if they're going to,
So like buildings that have crumbling stone on the sides of their buildings.
yeah, and people that don't take care of their roofs and people that don't keep the buildings functional. Yeah,
I can see the need for maybe involving Todd in that conversation.
yeah.
Okay, so KMGA board.
We need to appoint to
We need to talk for that
board
one too.
members.
Okay, sorry, just kidding.
What?
Don't know what she said.
I said we need to talk for that one too. I was
Oh,
just trying to push.
No, we do not.
I'm sorry.
We just need it in the minutes. It typically has been Justin and Mike. I don't know if you want to continue with that or if you want it to be me and Mike.
Yeah, I'd gladly give up my
Okay.
spot. That's fine.
That's fine.
You wanna do that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. So it's basically we just,
You're
I
gonna do it?
move to appoint Mike as primary and Stephanie as alternate.
that
Second.
works.
All in favor? Four.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Noise ordinance. We don't have one except against roosters.
We don't have anybody to enforce them either.
Dang, that would have been another good question because I wonder if we couldn't issue citations or something like that. Just because we don't have something doesn't mean we shouldn't try to get people to act decent. People that have barking dogs dogs do not bark unless they're miserable. And so that's something that we should be addressed, and we have done that. But I'm basically talking about loud music from one resident to another resident that happened this weekend, and the law was called. And there was a confrontation, and it was upsetting for the people that were involved. And so
Where are the people that were involved?
it was Joel and Lynn. And Joel was playing his music very loud. And so she went over there to ask him to lower it down, and there was a
Is
confrontation.
this in an apartment or what?
No, it's a house to house.
What did the cops, did they?
I suggested that she call it in because I think the county could take care of that.
This is the question when I saw this on here that I was asking that myself.
I thought we did
If
have
the
a
city makes a noise ordinance, the county won't enforce it. But if the resident is disturbing the peace, where does that line get drawn for the?
I told her to call the county.
It was,
I
I mean,
would
disturbing
think
the
they
peace is
should.
still a
It's a,
county, state,
Mhm.
whatever.
Right, and I don't know
Yeah.
where you draw that line between, I mean, that's, how do you make that call and
Yeah.
from the lawman's perspective, you know, what,
I mean, they have the ability to come in and enforce disturbing the peace. I mean,
Well,
I
that's
don't see
what
why
I,
they wouldn't.
yeah, that's what I think we could do. We could just leave it at that because we don't have enforcement right now. If we ever get one, that's another thing. But then if we had a deputy, they would also be able to enforce county rules. But another thing I was thinking about is the way some people drive around town. Their vehicles are so loud. Well, they're so loud that you can hear them and feel them coming. And so that is where you guys are thinking the county could do it. I guess I'll just call the county.
Yeah, there is definitely one truck in particular.
We have a
that
truck
checks
that's got all
windows.
kinds of boomers and stuff on it, and he drives all over town. I think to relax, but he also used to sit in his yard and aim it at the neighbor across the street that he didn't like. And so,
Oh, I wasn't talking about that.
well, then there's two cars that go around like
Or he
that.
was just blasting the guineas out.
I'm
of the
talking
yard.
about. I'm not talking about the radio noise. I'm talking about the truck that is so loud, like just driving loud, and he flies down Main Street, and my window rattles.
So disturbing the peace
Anyways.
refers to actually like causing fights, I guess. So,
Yeah.
It'd probably be noise
I-
ordinance.
well, I'm looking at state code for the sheriff's office, what they would actually.
Well, I was trying to think how it's worded in.
What did you say, Annie?
So it's technically it's not quite what you think it is. It's according to Kansas code, disorderly conduct can be defined as any act that knowingly angers, alarms, or disturbs another person, provokes an assault, or breaches the public peace. So yeah, you can use it that way. So
Okay.
disorderly conduct
There
is
was-
kind of a broad branch for
There was-
everything.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. Then all right,
they
I'll just
can-
tell
they can
people to call
respond.
county.
I don't disagree with the noise ordinance because I've had a few of my own. But if we can't have anybody enforce it,
Then we
then
just
what's the
have to
point
use
of
the
having
county.
it? If disorderly conduct covers what?
I don't want to waste resources on something that we can't do
I mean-
anything about, so I say.
If we get an officer, then that would probably be the first thing I'd put in place because yes, we need some kind of time period where town is quiet. It would be nice to have. So, but right now I don't see it being something that will help us off the cuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how everybody else feels.
This lakeshore thing.
Oh,
Are we gonna do that? Or we're gonna wait until Todd's
Yeah.
here?
you probably
You got Astra in there.
Well, the
Campground.
continuing business
Oh.
permit.
I have something to throw in our continuing business. I'm sorry I didn't mention. it.
Well, and Annie's got something too, so.
Mine'll just be real quick. The golf tournament that's coming up Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
As I said, I want the city to buy the lunches that we're going to give out and we're going to use as a fundraiser. I did somewhat of a estimate of what the total will be, somewhere between 300 and 400, most likely much closer to 300. But I'm planning on picking up the meat at Sam's Club, probably the buns and condiments and stuff like that. We're just going to do a pulled pork sandwich. We're going to buy those big boxes of assorted chips, a tray of cookies, bottled water, and then the beer. Probably 3 or 4 12 packs of beer. And I'm going to go and ask for donations from a couple liquor stores. And oh, by the way, I'll go ahead and buy a couple 12 packs from you at the same time. Do you want me to buy the stuff and bring the receipt in, or how do we normally do that?
whatever you
First
guys
of all, can
deem
we buy
necessary.
liquor? How's it going, Anthony?
I don't see why not.
Can you what? What did you ask?
I mean,
It's a valid question,
We've
but I
bought
mean,
alcohol before every
I
Christmas.
don't know. Yeah. True.
We could check.
There's no, there just seems like there's like a permit there somewhere.
I was gonna say,
Give it.
I
We
would
gotta
think-
We're not selling it,
Yeah.
tonight.
Yes.
if that's what you're thinking.
Oh yeah, because it's
Yeah.
the first.
I
city.
can't-
Well,
I
they
can't-
pay for the tournament, right? they have to pay to get in the tournament, and then they're getting
So you
this
might need to
from the
send
payment of the
some
tournament.
info.
So they're
No, this is, he's gonna drive around and sell it.
No, I'm
Or
not.
not, or ask for donations. Ask for donations.
so you don't have to pay anything to get into the golf tournament.
You pay to get into the tournament, but
Okay.
you're not
and then you get a
guaranteed.
meal and beer from
Negative.
your payment of getting into the golf
Negative.
tournament.
Negative. You get a meal and a bottle of water.
Yeah.
If you want a beer, then you talk to the guy who's going around taking donations for beer. If you don't want a beer, you don't get a beer.
Who's gonna be the bad guy that says you don't give me a donation, you don't get a beer?
Oh, it's not a bad guy. They'll look
they'll
at
do
that.
it, yeah.
Yeah, when you say donation, people put a
Cause like
couple
that's
bucks.
a
on
lot
it.
of, yeah. Like they'll put a
Like
couple
so much
bucks.
more on video.
I
Because
know.
you put a number on your donation amount, you're supposed to pay sales tax on it.
You should have tomato beer too.
There you go. Suggest.
You wanna make sure
Suggested value.
Any you
I had a
suggested?
very lady on the tax group at Topeka tell me,
So anyway, did we approve of paying it, or, because if we did, I'll just bring the
told me,
receipts in.
if you put a
Can do that?
suggested
I'll
dollar
just- I'll
amount,
just
because I
bring
was
the
like, I don't think we need our
receipts in.
sales
We have
tax
to have
ID anymore.
a,
And she was like, well, you should just
An
keep it.
approval or a
It's like,
denial. I'm just
Thanks.
assuming that it's
You want
approved.
it, you, well,
then she
yeah,
told
do you
me
wanna get a-
very
you
kindly,
ask
It's under
for it?
500 anyway.
if you put
So-
a dollar amount on it at all,
Never mind.
Yeah.
you pay sales tax on it. I was like, really? No.
Okay,
Okay. Is it my turn? Are we doing this Lakeshore document?
yep, the
Oh.
337 Lakeshore document
Well-
McGivern. Wait a minute, don't
Is
you
this-
have to do something?
I moved to table this till Todd's here.
What's
Second.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I put apartment offers. Do you need it?
So
Or is
you
that
have a-
executive?
You have a
that's.
We have to
Wait,
vote.
motion and a
No,
second.
that's, is it? Are we
Oh,
doing that?
motion and a second, all in favor.
For table? Yeah.
For table.
Okay.
Here, here. No, it's
I thought we did
tabling
for table.
McGivern's.
We did say that earlier. I
Yeah,
know.
you guys just lied to me.
I don't know, Andy.
Well, I didn't know.
Are we
what-
doing Astra?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it, but
All right.
are we?
I'll move to go into executive session for.
Well, well, you
Can I
can do
just
the,
do
you
this
can do
first?
the Astra.
Okay.
If that's, so do the Astra first. then I can
Okay.
hear it.
Astor Campground Manager is the one I talked about. This is the one that he who shall not be named suggested a while ago. But I was really interested by what he said. So there's two models that we can adopt. There's A or C. He did not give me the rest of them. He said they just don't fit.
Am I the only one that
I
really
can
wants to know what B is?
I can repeat. Do you need to repeat? Okay, Astra Campground Manager. It's for camping, permits, all that stuff. So it's kind of fortuitous, I guess, that you looked into that too. So we
Yeah.
may have to like have a comparison or something.
Yeah.
I don't care what you guys do. Okay,
So,
Model A requires internet service, a bit like Stephanie was talking about with that version. It costs nothing except for fees on transaction. So reservation fee every time somebody reserves a campsite, it would be $350 that we pay to Astra. If we so
we pay or?
sorry, that the customer pays
Okay.
to Astra, excuse me. And then anytime they run the credit card, it would be a 2.5% fee. So
This
I need to probably back up on this a little bit. So Astra owns,
zero.
yeah. So
appealing.
yes, and it really is zero to us because it's all through the credit card processing system. Okay, so backing up a bit, they own ReserveAmerica.com and BookYourSite.com. So if you have ever camped, you know probably what Reserve America is. Okay, so they own that, and we would be on it automatically. So
And now we're listed among all the other campsites.
they said something like
campgrounds
16 million users a day, which does not make me cry. It also would mean that our bait shop owner or runner, I don't know what you call it, contractor would then not have to probably do quite as much work in regard to like online booking and whatnot. People would just book and they could show up and, oh, here's your site. And
Yeah,
that's where the posts that I wanted
they're more of
come
a
in
host.
handy because then they can come just stick them on the thing and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
What's the other part of this? Okay, so Model A is kind of like what people are doing now for everything, which is all online data. And usually you pay like a subscription fee. Like I pay subscription fees for a lot of my services, but this does not require that. So we would be on those websites with no fee. I think you can even build a website, which we don't need. He's repeated several times because we are a city. We have our own website. We don't need that stuff. But we can build out our own little like Wabunsee kind of platform site for people to book off of, and then it uses their booking platform. They use for credit card processing and for the reservations, Chase Bank. I know this lists like 4 different credit card processing, but they use Chase Bank. I'm not sure actually. He didn't walk me through that at all, so I don't know what that is. So it's legitimate, it's professional, and it's very secure. There's no setup fee. You get 2 licenses per beyond standard. So if you want to add a third, it's $29 a month. So what I found appealing with this is that Stephanie could have a license, and then the second license can be at the bait shop. That means that she would have full access to every piece of data running through the shop all the time, and you can run export report anytime you want. And he showed me the list of export because I was like, I'm really concerned with data. Like, we need to know what we can print off and what we can send for our accounting and all that stuff. And so he showed me you can report basically anything you want in a variety of ways. So that was appealing. And then I thought, at first I thought, they could run 2 portals, but then I thought, no, you could have one permanently, and you'd always have access to the permit list, basically, and anybody's camping and all that stuff is there. There's no maintenance fee for Model A. Support, they will train everyone we need trained. And I think it sounds like probably continual training. So anytime they add a new staff, train them as well. I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you get additional training. What else can we... So basically what we're paying to them, and it's really coming through the consumer, is this 2.5% of all credit cards run. And then $3.50 per reservation fee. And I don't know, the permit thing, he said, I need to actually talk to them a little more to get details. So for as far as permits that might still apply, I would assume it would. But he was pretty sure that we could run permits through this system as well and run it the same way. It was really comprehensive. I didn't feel like it would be hard to learn. Running it all is a lot in general. I can almost guarantee you that to process credit cards out there already is charging $3.50 transaction or about there. So that wouldn't actually be an additional fee. The per reservation would be an additional fee to our consumer. So whatever we charge plus their fee is the end, and then taxes, of course.
So looking one night at a time, like in Primitive, could get 50% more expensive.
It wouldn't be quite that bad, but yeah.
Yeah,
Because right now I think the city pays for it at the lake.
The
Credit
card fees?
Yeah, we reimburse
Yeah.
Deb.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What we charge people to camp out there again?
What is it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if you're in a camper or whatever.
Yeah.
Primitive, I want to say, is like around $6
$6, I think.
And then what's the electric? 20?
It's like 15 or 18 maybe.
18,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it did go up to 18.
So I mean, in the end,
There's 2 different fees.
Well,
If you're-
yeah, I thought there was, the only reason I'm asking is because I don't camp anymore, we don't have a camper. And when we camped, it was relatively inexpensive, like it was out here.
oh yeah, it's not
Cheap,
bad.
cheap, cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not.
Yeah.
really bad.
And he didn't ask me what we make. He asked how many sites we had. So that was
But
the
my question is, because I don't know, but I've talked to a lot of people with campers and I've been told 3 or 4 different things. One thing I've been told is the size of your camper that you pay for at a lot of places. Others, it's just the spot that you pay for. But anybody that I've asked recently never pays more than $40 and less than $40 a night for the full hookup of the camping with all the accessories, and we're charging $20. So
we do have electric, right?
We don't have water.
We just have
we don't
water.
have
Yeah.
water.
Most
have
places
electric.
have water. All we have is electric.
We've talked about.
We
getting
are
one.
still charging less than.
Yeah, but
typical.
I think you're typically charging less anyway than others
There's a
for just
reason why
that.
Mike
But
didn't do
people
it.
are also used to paying
Then
credit card
They
fees
got the
now.
trench
I mean,
open.
it really doesn't phase anybody at
No,
this
so that's what
point.
I'm saying, we're not charging enough and then plus the fee.
And secondary goals,
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
So I think it's really useful, but the other part that I found kind of appealing was that if you came into the vape shop and forgot your wallet, or you sent your kid to go grab some marshmallows, they could actually just charge it to your campsite. Like if you're at a hotel and you want to order room service, you can just tack it onto your room. And then
Like her stuff that she's selling?
Yeah, that'd
Yes.
be difficult between city
Why?
stuff and her stuff.
Because
why?
you wouldn't want it to come to the city, because then we'd have to pay her back or something.
Well, I'm talking about it maintains their credit card where she can't see it, we can't, nobody can see it here, but they maintain it in the system and process that.
Hey, if they
It
have
wouldn't
that
blend
separation.
anything. Yeah,
of, like,
it's separate.
yeah.
You know, all the transactions in the store can also be on this,
Yeah.
and then it'll report correctly. Basically, is what I'm saying. Like there won't be any confusion on the campsite.
I
and
heard
stuff.
what you just said.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I go buy a soda in the store, it's reporting it as a soda. Like it's not going to
Like,
confuse.
and then it goes
It's
to
just
her.
using the card that was already on file.
Okay.
It's just
I don't have a
removing
problem with
step.
that as long as it's separate. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's,
But
is
it's also
that going
gonna
to charge them $3.50 though for reservation fee for reserving a soda?
no,
Okay.
no. Like you can do your whole camp store in the system.
Okay.
Basically, it's just doing it all in the same program.
Okay. I mean, she's got a pretty slick program out there to work with anyway, but not the dock reservations or the campsite reservations.
Does she?
Not that one.
Do you know what
but,
it is?
Isn't she using Square or something?
Okay, so
Like
that's
the point of sale system.
Yes.
That's just a credit card
Okay.
processing, and she's actually just inputting all that stuff. Square is literally just credit card processing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
just-
It really
Well, they
doesn't
have
do anything
inventory,
else.
don't they?
It's the same thing as what this
You have to
would.
put it in, you put it
Yeah.
all in manually.
Yeah, you manually add it though. So what we'd
Yeah,
be putting
okay.
in is the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, really, it's like a deed over here, deed over there. but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does this?
Well, you'd
I'm
still have to
so
put all your information.
Does this
in.
go through Square?
No,
No,
they
okay.
use
This
Chase
is
Bank.
Chase,
So
yeah.
Chase
Okay.
is the processor.
I got you now.
Yeah.
I'm following.
So what's nice about that is it's very secure. Like, and Square is secure. I'm not saying it's not because I use the same thing. Stripe or Square, same difference. It's allowing someone else to take care of the security of credit card processing, so you don't get in trouble for it.
We were told that too. Yeah, when we
It's a lot.
were looking at, like, when I was talking to this guy about online, and he's like, you guys get rid of all the liability of holding people's information,
Yes.
and then the third party processor takes on all
because
that.
you can't see it either.
Yeah.
And it actually protects your
And
clients
I was
because
like,
you no longer have their information in
Right.
your hands.
Yes, that's exactly what
Anymore.
we talked about too.
Yeah.
So
So it is nice to have that. And they have all that built-in security for like hackers and stuff like that. So. And for them it's a no loss too, because they make money off kind of something they don't have to continue working on, I guess. The Model C I feel like is something I wouldn't really invest in because it's the actual software. And like what Stephanie was just talking about, like we would use right now, it's on a server, so you're at risk of losing information should your server ever crash. So we'd be relying on the person running the bake shop to be doing backup, or Stephanie to be doing backups on it to make sure we don't lose any data. So there's risk there, but the reason for Model C is if your internet is unreliable, which we just spoke about. So that makes me
Yeah.
worry a little bit, but at this point, everything is going like cloud-based, everything is going online. And it really is helpful to have it that way. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions I haven't covered? I can't remember. And if you do want to walk through it, he said he would totally walk anybody else through that wanted to see it.
I think this is awesome. I mean, I remember when Dave was in here and presenting to us, they didn't have the same pricing model. Like it was still, the upfront, like, $1,000 or $2,000. And I know we were turned off by the price and we didn't end up going to that. And now here's something, I mean, the only reservation I have, I guess, is the reservation fee, which now you've marked up $3.50 to
So there's a markup, yeah.
every transaction, regardless of whether it occurs on their in-house at the bait shop.
Mhm.
But
But what's cool is if it is online, then it automatically updates your system and in the beta.
Oh, yeah.
So you have all that stuff in your hands.
Yeah.
All the time. So-
And that is so appealing. And the whole Reserve America concept, you know, being listed among the other campsites, you know, Council Grove is full. Where do we go? Here's Lake Watson.
Exactly.
I mean, you
I
know,
do think it would increase our user, and then maybe we
I think
can
it
start
would,
working on some of the improvements we've been wanting to do. I don't know.
yeah.
I like
Love
the
all
idea
the
that it's
zeros.
free like that.
Yeah.
Well, free like that.
I
Yeah.
feel like we should invest in water at the campsites, and then this would be a good thing. I hear many complaints about what people have to pay to bring their camper out here, and they can't hook up to water.
Yeah.
And I agree with them. I mean, I'm right there with that
Yeah.
complaint. I take my camper out there and I have to fill it up with water, and
But
if I
it's
have
$20, and we were just told that that's pretty much half, so you're getting half the price. for
Well,
the
she's
lack of
saying
water.
nobody charges more than 40.
I don't pay $40 to camp. I don't pay $30 to camp anymore.
It is a little,
About 22,
yeah.
maybe.
We're pretty standard at this point with.
We're charging what a lot of places charge that have water.
I would like to see gravel, or I mean, concrete would be amazing, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
But I would like to
yeah.
see gravel where the electric hookups are.
And for Deb's complaint, which is complaint about the picnic tables and mowing around them, moving them, whatever.
On a slab, they'd be
I
on
think
a
if they're
slab.
sitting on the gravel, that would be.
Yeah.
But who's gonna maintain the gravel?
Well,
Who's
yeah.
gonna maintain the areas after you put the gravel down?
The same person that mows can go out there and put spray on the gravel.
We have gravel now and it's not happening. So where's the account? Are you gonna keep them accountable?
Well, I agree with all that, but I'd still
'Cause we
feel
can't
like
keep
it's
accountability
destroying
now,
it anyway.
adding anything else.
Well, that's true.
Anyway, so I didn't know that you had that
I
offer.
know.
So I mean, it'll
Well, I
be
started looking because Tim had voiced that opinion.
Yeah, I did
last
too. I did the
meeting,
same
so,
thing.
yeah.
I reached out for a quote during that meeting, and then he did a walkthrough with me on it. And I really like the system, but obviously, if you already have an existing and then it takes care of everything, I do like.
I need to get more information too. That was hard looking it up on my cell phone. I should have.
Yeah.
Everything.
But if they
Yeah.
have like a
Some
permit
study
system,
on it.
that was one thing he didn't have handy for me. He's like, I know that people have done permits on it. He just exactly what they've used, but there are so many like ways to use it. I feel like it would cover everybody's bases.
I was very opposed to this idea in the beginning when Dave, not because it was Dave, but because I was opposed to this idea.
The only downer that I
Issues we've run into.
see with this is that it requires a 3-year contract, and it sounds pretty ironclad. He was like, there's quite a bit of paperwork with the contract, so. So if we did this, I think we'd probably have to amend our contract with the bait shop and require them to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're no longer under contract. It is a 1 year, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can change that.
Yeah, and just write that in the new one.
Right.
Yep, that's
So-
exactly what I thought.
So
That's a
We're
potential.
sure not gonna adopt it halfway through the season. That'd be
no,
ridiculous.
and I mean it's going to take time to get stuff in there, get a map. You know that they'll have to have time too to work with us. So
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you
why
know-
I thought now is great because it'll roll into next year. Basically, we have 6 months to prep or less. I don't know how much it is.
Thank you for your work, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, that was Amy too.
And-
This was Amy.
Annie. Stephanie came
Whatever,
out.
Annie.
I meant to say Annie because I told you thank you already.
Yeah.
We're just the same person.
Yeah.
I'll wear my glasses next week for you. So
yeah, this is the kind of the way I lean, like giving the option between Summit and
Yeah.
this, just because it comes with the Reserve America, it comes with the
People being able to find.
yeah.
Camping.
That tie in to Reserve America, I think, is a pretty valuable asset.
Because that's where a lot of local
Mhm.
places already are.
People out there don't even know this lake is here. They
Yeah.
aren't very far away from it.
That's not a bad thing.
Except for all the people at the ropes thing at the
Yeah.
in 10 years, they could have campers. They could be
But have you
staying.
driven around the swimming beach area or any of that during the holiday weekend? It's the same thing. You can hardly get through.
Yeah, and he's saying it's all out of
Like,
town. It's all
too many
shopping
people
town.
for not
It's
the amount of
not
space.
local people, so I don't know.
There's,
I feel like Wabunsee Lake has been on
That's
some
not
secret
my
list
fault,
I don't
too,
know
because
about,
some
and
of
people
those
are like
might be
from
actually
everywhere.
local
Yeah, not a bad thing.
I just need to
Where do
give
they
you
get this
two
information
quotes
from?
to tell you what they are.
Ten.
You guys say,
Hey, guys, I got something I wanna ask.
I'll make it fast, Ally. We're
Dolly-
gonna go into executive.
Dolly made
session.
several comments tonight about me printing out pictures.
Yeah.
Stephanie and I ran into a problem today. I sent her an email
Oh, yes.
3 weeks ago for her to print out some pictures. She just got it today.
When you showed up at the.
Wow.
Yeah, when I showed
So I
up
don't
here.
know if that
So
was
that's
an
one
internet
reason
thing or
why
what.
we haven't printed out pictures. Because I have to send them to her.
You can't plug your tablet into her computer?
Can you email
Yeah,
them?
maybe you just need to.
That's what I've been doing, and it took
Sorry,
3
that was-
weeks.
Were you not connected to the
What if you
internet?
plug your
that
tablet
Well, that's what
right
I
into
wondered
hers?
because when she showed up to City
You
Hall,
had to have
it,
reconnected.
Then,
Not
yeah,
Use the
But
mini
see, I've
USB
been
to
connected
USB
to my
connector
home,
and download
and
it. Just have
that's
to
where
have
I
a camera.
do what?
Use your mini USB connector on your tablet to a USB on the computer. It's just like a camera.
yeah, we can figure it out.
Well,
I
we
mean, I
could
know
do
how.
that.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes that I can't get in here before she leaves
Well,
to get
Sally,
those
well,
pictures.
I'll try and, I mean, if you don't if you run out of time, that's fine, but if you have time to get the pictures are just better for us to look at together.
Well, I mean, sometimes that is feasible, but sometimes it's not. Because if I do stuff on the weekends, I can't always get here on Monday because of working in the trash truck to get them printed.
Do we have a computer for her to have access to? Because I think having her photos on a backup device would be a good idea anyway.
Yeah.
'Cause,
we
yeah,
have-
that's what I was gonna ask. Is our computer right
Yeah.
in here?
This sucker's getting so full
If
that
you
it's.
I
don't
think
how
you
to
should
run
bring them in
stuff,
here and
I
maybe
can-
dump them
I
off
can-
if you're having trouble.
I have a key.
Yeah,
I can bring you in here on the
Might help
weekend.
with the email.
Is that what you
You
Well,
can
she
get her
should
key.
have a key.
She doesn't have a key, but we can get her a key.
Yeah, I mean.
We've had
come in.
issues with. It's fine. We'll get her a key.
Do you want to try mine? Mikey?
Your key works. Oh, getting it cut?
Huh?
We can.
Yeah, Sally, we'll get you a key so you can go in here and do it that way.
I moved to go into executive session for 10 minutes.
Well, real quick, one thing that Stephanie and I forgot to mention, the 9th is the rabies. Because I've
Yeah.
had plenty of messages.
Oh, yeah, people want to know, Raven, what is that?
It's October
I
9th.
kind of got interrupted in my session on
October
talking.
9th.
October 9th, 10 to 11:30 at the fire station.
Jim,
We're having-
doing that?
She wants people to wear masks. Just
Yep.
FYI. So be prepared.
And guys, she's going to be real strict about it.
Yes, she
So
I promise
Yeah.
you she is.
I already know
So we
that.
can come there and be like, oh, sorry. She made us, I didn't have a mask and she wouldn't do us, so.
Yes,
operate.
she will probably
Probably
make me
will
come
not.
and get the dogs.
She probably
She
will
did,
not.
that's
Oh,
what- that's what I
provide
did
you
last
with
year.
Mask. I've got
It's
them.
it's free America. I don't need one.
You can go somewhere else then.
Well,
All right. On a tangent. I'm trying to get a stadium in the home.
Yes,
I couldn't
give
go
people
in
to
with my dog
know so you
bag.
can be prepared.
Motion still stands.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay,
All right.
10 minutes.
Protection of financial information.
Okay,
Let me stop. It's okay. I'll stop the
camera.
camera first. Like a minute.
Okay.